victory.
Absolutely the best.
And the agony of defeat.
And look at him go! Oh, baby. Oh, no.
This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Today, the NHL returns to ABC with all the hard-hitting, fast-paced action of the coolest sport on earth. The NHL takes the ice next.
Get up, get up, get up. Drop the bombshell. Get up, get up. This is out of control. Get up, get up, get up. Drop the bombshell. Get up, get up.
National Hockey League at ABC. No team has won more games in the last 30 years than the Detroit Red Wings, and they're #1 again. They take on a Boston team that's on a streak right now. These Bruins have not lost in their last 4. They're trying to solidify a playoff spot. They meet for the second time within a week here in Boston. Hello, everybody, on a frigid day, some hot action inside. I'm Gary Thorne, along with Bill Clement and John Davidson. We take a look at a Detroit team that is running. They are #1 in the National Hockey League yet one more time, and a Boston team looking for an MVP.
Well, the Boston Bruins are coming on, but it's quite simple from a Boston standpoint. They go as their captain, Joe Thornton, goes. He is off his numbers from last year, 20 points behind. He hasn't had a multiple-point game in a month, but he is showing signs of coming out of it, and he's going to have an MVP second half. Here's the thing for today's game. Joe Thornton is huge. The Red Wings are the smallest team in the NHL. When Thornton combines passion with his size, nobody can stop him, and that's what the Bruins are hoping he brings to the ice today.
John Davidson, for Detroit all year, it's been about goaltending.
Boy, you even back it up, Gary. 2 seasons ago, Detroit won the Stanley Cup, and Dominik Hasek was their goaltender. He decided to retire after they won the Cup. They brought in Curtis Joseph from Toronto as a free agent. Last season, Detroit did not win the Cup, and you know what? Dominik Hasek said, I'm going to come back and play again. Well, he's had injury problems, so they've had to lean on Curtis Joseph. He's been very good lately now that he's healthy and he's got his game going. He's 8-3-1 in his last 12. He's asked to carry the load right now for Detroit.
An amazing story that continues to evolve in that department. They played in Detroit this week. Boston had a 3-0 win. When we come back, they'll meet for the second time this week. And we'll see some great young players, maybe none better than Pavel Datsyuk among the league's leading scorers.
Bruins and Wings coming up. John Saunders and Barry Melrose. Detroit is always going to be in the hunt because the Ilitch family is willing to pay the money to have a good team, and they're loaded with stars. But this year, it's not the big-name stars that are doing it.
Well, the goaltending situation has been erratic all year long. Cujo's back in net, believe it or not. But the guys on this team just get better and better. You got Draper having a career year, 18 goals, already the best he's ever had. Datsyuk is unbelievable. Woolley and Schneider on defense are playing the best hockey they've ever played. Hull and guys like that aren't carrying the team anymore. It's these guys I just mentioned.
Pavel Datsyuk has just been a joy to watch. If you haven't seen him this year, watch today. 5th in the NHL in the scoring race with 21 goals and 24 assists. And his 21 goals coming off just 80 shots. Bruins, Red Wings coming up.
A frigid day here in New England with the temperatures wind chill wise well below 0. About 27 below last night in the higher elevations, as they say. We're high at the Boston Garden, but it's not that cold, at least not inside. Today's checklist: Boston Bruins and the Detroit Red Wings meeting for the second time this season as the National Hockey League returns to ABC from the Fleet Center here in Boston. And Curtis Joseph, who has taken over with Dominik Hasek's groin injury and has been spectacular since he's had to come back in net, will be there again today.
Really playing some of the best hockey that he has played since becoming a Detroit Red Wing before last season. This is 13th start in the last 16 Red Wings games.
There are the numbers for him on the year. Since the injury to Hasek, he is 8-3-1 with a .192 goals against average during that span. So pretty spectacular numbers for him. Joe Thornton will be out there to take the face-off. Pavel Datsyuk will do so for the Detroit Red Wings. Great to have you with us here on ABC, and we are underway. Matthew Snyder, Lidstrom will be on the all-star team starting out there defensively for Detroit. That one will be tipped back into the zone. Red Wings will come back to get it. Back is Nick Boynton. Boynton leads the Boston Bruins in ice time this year. Draper having a great year. Pushed that into the corner. Nobody there to get it. It came over. That'll be flipped back out to center. Lidstrom's got it.
And Gary, the defense pair of Schneider and Lidstrom on the ice to go against Joe Thornton. Detroit would love that matchup all game long.
That'll end up into the netting. Let's take a look at the Boston starter. It is not Felix Potvin, the man brought in to handle the work. It is the rookie who's putting a show on.
He's won his last two. A win here against Pittsburgh. The night before it was in Detroit, a 3-0 win, and he was the difference, especially the first 10 minutes of that game when Detroit was all over Boston. Raycroft gave his team a chance to settle down, come back, and win the game with a shutout.
He is only 23 years old, one of a number of rookies used this year by the Bruins. Steve Yzerman comes out. That'll be dumped back in behind the net. Zetterberg and Maltby on this line with Yzerman. Yzerman up on the forecheck. Flip back out to center. Yuri Fisher back to get it. Maltby came back to help cover. Chris Chelios, the other defenseman, has moved into the zone. That'll be backhanded in by Travis Green. Maltby comes back to pick it up. 6-goal season so far for Maltby. Shot gets blocked off to the near side. Detroit is the #1 offensive team in the National Hockey League against a Boston team ranked 14th in offense and 15th on the defensive side of the ledger. Knuble trying to hold it to get onside. Yzerman was there to knock it away. Played back to the near side. Both teams start out a bit cautiously. It was a 3-0 game. Raycroft 36 saves in Detroit on Wednesday as Boston shut out the Detroit Red Wings.
And Gary, when you see a game that starts cautiously, the Detroit's in, I always think it ain't the Red Wings that are playing cautiously. It's the guys that are playing against them. You have to start a game.
When you got a #1 offense out there on the ice, as Detroit does, Boston cannot afford to make mistakes and costly turnovers, so defensive position will be vital for them in this game. Wilson trying to hold it in on the near side. Puck came loose. Holmstrom came over. Holmstrom took the bump from behind. Puck still there. Squirts up along the blue line. Boston able to hold it in at least momentarily. Tough to get a handle on this one. Holmstrom will drop it back in his own end. Both teams will trap if necessary, especially Boston at center. Detroit more likely to play the wide open game if you give them a chance. Joseph dumps it off the near side. Brendan Shanahan up to get it. Shanahan a couple of goals, 3 assists over the last 5 games for the forward for the Detroit Red Wings. Well, they came back to get it. Lost it back in behind the net. Bruins on the turnover, looking for the setup in front. That one rolled wide. Good chance, Grosjean. Still held in on the attempted dump out of the zone. Detroit trying to get a line change done here. Turned it over. Willie just jams it out of there. Both teams will make line changes here. Sent in. Joseph had to knock that one down on the shot from center. Grosjean had the first opportunity, gunned it in, then hit it to the bench. Gary Fisher.
You know what, Gary? Boston's had 4 lines on the ice. Detroit got the hemmed in their zone. Their 4th line couldn't get out there, so they come back with Datsyuk.
That is Datsyuk in the middle. Draper trying to hit him on the centering pass. Draper along the near side boards. Magnificent year for him. Chelios held it in. Datsyuk got it. Brett Hull is the other forward on this line. Bill, they're trying to find the goals for Hull.
Yeah, well, Chris Draper was with Datsyuk and Brett Hull for a lot of the month of December when they really lit it up. They've kind of gone cold. Brett Hull has Pavel Datsyuk, so why not put Chris Draper back with them?
There is Hull. He's in his longest goal drought ever in his career. No goals in the last 15 games for Brett Hull, who nevertheless has 16 on the season. Thornton brings it back up. This is their high-scoring line. Samsonov, that deflected back into the corner. Help from Bergeron. Take a look at this kid. Patrice Bergeron, number 37. He is the youngest player in the National Hockey League, the age of 18. And there's not a person who's seen him play who doesn't say, ooh, just watch this kid grow. He's already playing as though he's been around a while.
Can you say Rookie of the Year?
Yes.
I
know Bill has.
I think he'll win it. Well, I think he will win it. You know what? He's 18. It's hard not to factor in some of the other rookies. And you know what? They're great rookies. But a lot of them 21, 22, and 23. That's 3, 4, or 5 more years of development that they have had over Patrice Bergeron.
Brent Burns, who is 18 years old, playing in Minnesota. They are the 2 18s playing regularly in the NHL right now. They are the only two at that age. A few 19-year-olders also there. Dumped up the near side boards, bounced off Glenn Murray. Murray will drop it off and head to the net. Intercepted at center. Odd man, Devereaux up. Devereaux looking. Boston back. That one slid across the top of the crease. Couldn't connect on it. Trying to hit Jan.10, who's coming in. Devereaux off the near side point. Goes back for Lidstrom. Had it stolen by Glenn Murray. Murray, a big goal scorer over the past couple of seasons for Boston. His numbers have dropped off as well. One of the reasons this Boston offense has struggled for goals this year. That's on the tip to Ralston. Ralston, the errant pass shot. Joseph will hang on.
And in talking about Patrice Bergeron as an 18-year-old, he won't even be 19. This is a goal that he scored Wednesday night. The winning goal against the Pittsburgh Penguins here at the Fleet Center. What a move he put on Mark Bergevin at the blue line. And then won it for the Bruins with just a few minutes to go in the game. He won't even be 19 until July. And you know what? He wasn't even close to being penciled into a roster spot at camp.
Centering pass. It's loose. Yzerman had the chance on the setup by Maltby. Raycroft stayed in front of it, knocked it away. Ralston will dump that one into the corner. Woolley was back on D. Curtis Joseph came out to handle it. Dumped it around the near side. That shot from the point goes wide by Gilson. Played back by Ralston. Tried to center it from Martin Lapointe, who used to play in Detroit. Number 20 right there with a hit. That's Lapointe now in a Boston uniform. Ralston knocked Yzerman down. Lapointe and Maltby, they go down. They played together on the same line over the years in the National Hockey League. Comes to the near side, Maltby. Maltby sends it into the middle. No score. A lot of defense early on. Chelios. Raycroft reached out. May have been wide, but he wasn't going to take a chance. Shots are 3-2 in favor of Detroit. 6 minutes here into the first period.
Detroit's defense looks sharp. Chelios has broken up plays. Lidstrom has. Oh, there's a turnover.
Turnover chance. Shot. Joseph out. Samsonov. Had his shot deflected wide. Thornton. Samsonov goes to the front of the net. Thornton the puck. Thornton's got an angle. Center shots. Oh, wide. The stick of Bergeron was picked up as he took that shot. He had an empty net. Lidstrom moves it back the other way. Centered Zetterberg. Holmstrom could not get to it. Played off the near side. Holmstrom to Shanahan. And all of a sudden it opens up. Shanahan takes it back to the point. Snyder a chance. Raycroft to save. Holmstrom over to get it. Gets tied up from behind by Morrison. John Morrison had it. Detroit again taking it away. Shanahan dumps it in after Zetterberg picked it off. Well, just like that, the chances piled up in a hurry. Played back up the near side. And
one turnover. Hey, Gary, one turnover. It's all it takes. One turnover, and Boston had 2 great scoring chances.
But the thing is, the Bruins are one of the biggest teams in the NHL. The Red Wings are the smallest. And Mike Sullivan, the head coach of the Bruins, knows if his guys decide to take it to the paint, they're going to get there with it. That's what Thornton did to generate that scoring chance.
And he got open just by sheer power. He circled around his man. Lidstrom sending it in. Detroit trying to get a line change completed here. Very few whistles. Another turnover. Datsuk stole it. Trying to get it back to Brent. Datsuk puts the head on. What a shot Datsuk put on. That one wide of the net. Raycroft out. Can't control it. Picked up by Draper. There's it up the far side. Yuri Fisher had that chance on the point. Datsuk was cutting in the middle. Hull hit the post. Brett Hull off the post and back to Raycroft. Lord Almighty. These two teams, unusual results of late. We'll tell you about it when we come back.
Really good scoring chances at both ends of the ice. The 18-year-old rookie, Patrice Bergeron, had one because of the hard work from this guy, Joe Thornton. He drew people to him, but Nick Lidstrom with that great defensive stick was able to save it.
And there's Datsuk with the setup for Hull, who's having trouble scoring. He's getting assists, Hull is, but he's not scoring goals. Datsuk is 5th in the league in scoring. He almost added another point to his scoring total with a great pass.
Brett Hull, that patented shot right there, he's used to that going in. He ends up on one knee. If he doesn't score soon, he's going to be on both knees, praying. There's another pass into the middle. That gets blocked and out the center.
Both chances over for Brett Hull. The defenseman was right out with him. I mean, the Boston Bruins are well prepared for Brett Hull. He likes to get out into that dead zone. It's about 20, 25 feet out in front of the net. Most defensemen don't want to follow him. The Bruins have done a pretty good job.
It's because it hurts when he shoots and you get hit by it. Let's take a look at our Bud Light Plus Minus leaders. O'Coin right now, the Islanders on top. Chris Draper of Detroit is here. Todd Bertuzzi with the Canucks. Those are your plus minus leaders.
That's leveled off. A lot of those guys were plus 15, 18, 20 in the first couple of months of the season. Now everything's leveled off. It's tough out there to score goals.
You saw Draper, what a season he has had. All-time high in goals already for him on a year. And we're only halfway through the season. Moving in, Bergeron to take the face-off. We'll lose that one. Yzerman, Bergeron. There's one for you. One of the oldest and the youngest. They were sticking each other after that face-off because Yzerman didn't like the way Bergeron knocked him down. Zetterberg to Yzerman a chance. Zetterberg, what a save! Rebound, score! Maltby puts it home.
When the puck was up high, Zetterberg let the puck go to Yzerman, and then he made things happen. It starts off obviously with a turnover in the corner, but when the puck goes through the high slot, here's the play along the boards. There's the turnover. Leave it for Yzerman. Yeah, that's better. Now go to the net. There's a shot, and there's the rebound goal by Maltby.
Everybody had a piece of that, including Ray Whitney, who took the shot, and Kurt Maltby, who finished it off. So all three forwards. This is not a big line. We talked about Detroit being the smallest team in the NHL. What do they have if they're not big? Smarts, quickness, and most of them have great hands, like you just saw.
So Detroit goes on top and is 1-0. Boston has had an enormous problem this year playing at home and in getting the first goal at home. It continues in this game. They're playing only .500 hockey. They've had 7 ties here at the Fleet Center. 6 wins, 6 losses, and 7 ties.
And the Red Wings are 19-3 scoring first. I mean, that is why you want to play cautiously. Gary, you mentioned that over the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game. That's why you want to be cautious at the start. But at some point, if you fall behind the Red Wings, you've got a problem, and the Bruins have that right now.
Murray gets a goal. 1-0 lead came on the 6th shot of the Red Wings. That'll be touched up for icing. Maltby's 7th at the 8-minute mark. Yzerman and Whitney pick up the assists. Want to remind you, Sydney Bristow can't remember what happened for the last 2 years of her life. I know that problem. Tomorrow, everything will finally be revealed on a new alias. Tomorrow at 9, 8 Central here on ABC.
2 years, can't remember what happened yesterday.
I can't remember what happened on the last play. I said Zetterberg. It was Whitney. Whitney made a nice play allowing Yzerman to make the play at the net. And Maltby picked up the rebound after a great save by Raycroft.
He did. He really kicked that out. That's where you need some help on the puck. But the defense was not there to knock it away. Willie comes back into the zone for Detroit. Leaves it back behind the net. That's Nicholas Kronwall, 55 of Detroit. He is a rookie, 22 years old, out of Sweden, and getting a lot of playing time on the third set of defensemen for the Detroit Red Wings, who are missing Darian Hatcher. That knee injury has kept him out the whole season, and he's not expected back probably until the 1st of March. That one is blocked. Shanahan picks it up, fakes the blast, tried to draw it back, couldn't, and it's swept out of the zone by Jeff Gilson. Darren McCarty continues injured for Detroit. Steve Thomas injured, but skating again, and Dominic Hasek with a groin injury. The goaltender for Detroit is supposed to be their #1, continues as it is a lingering injury.
Gosh, Gary, too, he was practicing, he was doing the splits, he was stopping shots. Now all of a sudden 2 weeks of inactivity has been mandated by the Dogs, so he's not going to do anything for 2 weeks.
Amazing, huh? P.J. Axelson is out of the lineup. A knee injury suffered in the last game for Boston, so he is not playing. Sandy McCarthy, Kabak are healthy scratches. Jammed in the corner. Gilson moved it up the near side. Trying to get it out of there. Can't. The deflected away. Came back to Mowers of Detroit. Centered shot. Save made. And kick to the corner.
You know, Boston is big, guys, but Detroit's quick. And are they quick here in this first period?
They've got the Boston Bruins with their heads turned the wrong way a number of times right now.
It's not only a big team against a small team. It's also a team that really is representative of the Western Conference style against a team that has to win the way they win in the East, getting pucks behind people to the right spots on the ice, then shredding them up with a forecheck grinder. That's what the Bruins have to try to do.
That's Lapointe. Lapointe sends it in. Chris Chelios coming back to get it. The veteran Chelios back for his 5th game after missing 10 games with a knee injury. Brett Hull pushed it up to the point and held back in on the far side by Bergeron. Bergeron jamming up against that wall. Samuelson trying to center, could not. It'll be moved out of the zone. Boston will have to chase this one down. Boynton came back to get it. Bergeron off the boards. Thornton there had it poke checked away. Picked back up Yuri Fisher. He lost it. Cleared in off the far side. Samsonov who can fly. Samsonov dropped it back. Thornton back for Samsonov. It's broken up. Bergeron in front of the net. Tried to get it. Samsonov down. Throws it back. And backhander lost it. And a penalty coming on the Red Wings. A great chance when we come back. The action in front. Sergei Samsonov. We'll see how he didn't get one. Got the slashing call. 11:05. He's in the box because of this.
Scoring opportunity even before the penalty. Joe Thornton made it happen. He followed the puck out of Samsonov. Watch Samsonov, though. He drew it to his backhand. and he drew it into a sea of Red Wings.
I think Curtis Joseph forced that, though, Billy. I think Curtis came flying out at him, made him go to the wide side. He lost the puck, and Boston goes on their first power play.
Boston 0 for 2 against Detroit in the game on Wednesday in Detroit. This power play is ranked 13th in the National Hockey League. Detroit penalty killers, the 8th best unit in the league. Thornton in front, trying to redirect, couldn't do it. Thornton's the man, as Bill has said. He's got that size. Murray drops it off. Lidstrom's doing battle in front. O'Donnell shot that one, deflected up and over the net. Sean O'Donnell the opportunity, shorthanded. The Red Wings have scored more shorthanded goals than any other team in the league. They have 11, and Boston has given up 8. So the Bruins will have to be careful here when they're on the power play. That one for Murray is a 2-line pass. Now let's check in and see what's going on elsewhere. John.
Alongside of Barry Melrose here, everything's going well for the New York Rangers. Tom Cody, it's redirected by Eric Lindros and a 1-0 lead.
About a minute later, good hunting the puck with his Lindros line again. I did the game Thursday night. This was the best line. Simon gets a pass from Barnaby.
And Rashinsky scored as well, 3-0.
The Rangers have had the Islanders number lately. They've gone 4-0-2 in the last 6 games against them. That's about the only team the Rangers are knocking off these days are the Islanders.
Well, that's in the division, and that matters. Ralston leaves it out on the point. Power play Boston. The blast wide of the net, rebounded off the near side. Dan McGillis got all of that one. Spun around Martin Lapointe. Lapointe leaves it back in behind the net. Lapointe will be the man in front now where Thornton had been. A whiff on a pass, and Matthew Snyder clearing it out, kicks it up ice. What a year Snyder is having with Detroit. There are 23, the defenseman. He will be in contention for honors for the #1 defenseman in the NHL this year. He's playing with Nick Lidstrom right there, number 5. Lidstrom's won it the last 3 years. Odd man, nope, 2-on-2 the other way, shorthanded. Zetterberg will move it up. Zetterberg brings it into the zone, backhands it over the head of Raycroft. Ralston came over to get it. Power play, Boston, down to 26 seconds left to go. Bergeron, Baxter sends it in, intended for Murray. Chelios there, takes the hit from Murray. Left behind the net, Gary Fisher. Fisher cleared it up to the point. Nick Boynton's got it. Boynton looking, big windup, gets blocked. About 60 rows back. Our first of the NHL games to be seen on ABC, carrying you right through the Stanley Cup Finals. Great to have you with us. And speaking of young,
35 years old, Mike Sullivan, head coach of the Boston Bruins. We had a chance to talk to him prior to the game. Was he ever excited for Team USA winning the World Juniors, the World Championships of Junior Leagues? The U.S. team played so well. Sullivan played for them.
And it didn't go so well.
No, 1988 played in Moscow for Team USA. They had people like Donato, Madonna, Roenick,
John LeClaire,
amongst others on their team. How did they not do better than that, Bill? They should have won with those names.
You should see the list of guys that were on the other teams.
they're in the Hall of Fame. Cleared around by Fisher. 1-0 Detroit leading it here with 6:46 to go in the period. Power play is over. No shots for Boston on that power play. So that power play, which has struggled, continues to do so. Intercepted down low. Samsonov had to kick it off the skates onto the stick. Left it back in behind the net. Samsonov again. Thornton circling with him in the corner. Boynton trying to knock it away. Got challenged by Draper. Picked it out of the zone. Good play by Draper. Datsyuk coming over to get it. Thornton will push him hard. He was able to hold himself off the wall.
It's the 3rd time Datsyuk has been, he's going to get hit in this period, but he braces himself and he becomes the hitter, much like Peter Forsberg does for the Colorado Avalanche.
Big guys, too. We're going that time. Dan McGillis before. The underrated thing about Pavel Datsyuk is his strength.
Good hit along the far side. Speaking of hits, that was Hal Gill who put the shot on over there. Moved up by the Boston Bruins. They turned the puck over a number of times. Detroit's done a good job on poke checking along their own blue line. Back for it. Kronwall leaves it. Red Wings get their line change completed. Woolley moves it out of the zone. Had a little room on the far side. Could not connect with Dandino. Came back to the line. Kronwall got a piece, not enough to hold it. Knuble into the zone. Boston. Knuble leaves it. Little opening in the middle. Trying to get it lined up for the chance. Can't. Centered shot. Oh, where did that hit? How did that not go in? Mike Knuble had an empty net with Curtis Joseph, and somehow it ricocheted back off the backside of Joseph.
That was Grosek doing all the play in front of the net, screening and getting in front of Curtis Joseph. Grosek did the job, and I don't know how the puck didn't go in either.
And Travis Green was awesome in taking a wide, letting things break down before he made the play out front of Knuble. I still don't know what it hit.
I don't either. I thought that was at the back of the net, but nobody reacted that way. And is sent in at the 5-minute mark here, and that will draw the whistle. And when we come back, we'll take a look and see exactly what happened to that shot that did not go in on the Bruins.
breaks start to go your way when you're playing well. And Curtis Joseph had one go his way here. Mike Knuble, who has been hot for the Bruins, hit him in the back of the leg. That shot might have even been headed for the post, possibly even wide, but Curtis Joseph wasn't even looking when it hit him.
Well, he felt it, though. You can see him wave his left hand just on feel alone. What a job by Grosek, 22, Boston, just causing all the problems for Curtis Joseph, who had to drop his stick again.
That was Nicholas Kronwall, the rookie that came in and finally scooped the puck away.
That's using your backside right there. That went off the wallet and came back out again. Detroit leading. Maltby's got the goal, 1-0. What are you laughing at?
That hit the wallet. The puck would have come outside over the blue line.
Ralston turns around, gunned that one in.
Or been swallowed up.
It never would have gone through, I guarantee you that. Flipped away by Gilson out to center. Picked back up, lost. And dumped back in. Joseph will let it go to Lidstrom. Lidstrom. Hit put on by Matthew Snyder. That centering pass bounces off bodies. Shot. That one goes wide of the net. Gilson from the blue line. Ralston gets it again. Ralston leaves it back. Lapointe. Lapointe got it out in front. Kicked away off the goal stick of Curtis Joseph. There's some room there. They're just not finding the right angle. Hummel had the opportunity that time. Ivan Hummel, the 22-year-old for Boston. Cleared back in as the Bruins will make a line change. 7-5. The shots in favor of Detroit with the goal by Maltby. End-to-end, Detroit wants to get a line change. Seeing that, Raycroft got it out of there in a hurry. Bergeron up ice. Trailer is Thornton. Bergeron centered it. Didn't have anybody there except on the other point. Morrison on the far side was able to hold it in. In behind the net, Bergeron looking. Thornton cutting, hit the back of the net. Thornton picks it up. Thornton, nobody in the middle. Again, using that muscle. Fisher tied him up. Backhander, Bergeron couldn't get the bouncing puck. Penalty coming on Detroit. And there's the strength again of Thornton.
Exactly what Mike Sullivan was telling us before the game, isn't it, JD? He said if we can get Joe Thornton to try to drive the net, worst thing that can happen is somebody might drag him down and we'll get a power play.
Well, Fisher takes the penalty here. He's a big defenseman. And Joe Thornton, you know, Boston's power play, the first one of the period, looked awful. But since that point, their team has picked up their game. And look at Thornton get on the inside as you see a Fisher, and Fisher hooks away at him. Everybody else was covered, but Joe Thornton is really using his strength, as you said, Bill, to get to the high scoring area, the high crease area. He makes it happen.
Might be one of the reasons Detroit has got Yuri Fisher out there against him. He's their biggest, strongest guy.
Fisher in the box now at 16:26 in the hooking call. Second power play for the Boston Bruins. And the Bruins having trouble moving out of the zone. Bergeron back to get it. Detroit has not given up a power play in the last 17 chances against them, including one in this game. Boston over the last 22 games is 6 for 85 on the power play. That one is bumped out of the zone. And that power play, which looked like it was going to be a moving force for them at the start of the year, just hasn't done that. Datsuk backhands it out.
Boston usually has trouble getting out of their zone clean on their power play. But here in this game, from what I've seen so far, they get into the Detroit zone. But Detroit's good on their penalty kill. They don't give you much. And they pressure quick.
Right on you. They'll stay on the puck as you see it move through center ice. Samsonov. He's the water bug out there. Glenn Murray on the power play, cleared around the near side. Bergeron leads Boston in power play goals with 7 in front. Again, a bouncing puck. Chelios got there, and Murray had one moment to get that shot off, and the puck would not sit for him.
That was another example, guys, there. Boston got into the zone quickly on the power play, but they couldn't do anything with it. And Datsuk, he could stick handle the phone booth, couldn't he?
He can.
Oh, my.
He is exciting along with Samsonov. The two of them, stick handling wise, can bring it right into the skates. The move put on by Thornton gets blocked as Murray had the opportunity. Lidstrom trying to stay with him. Power play down to 24 seconds for the Bruins. Gilson working a point. Gilson goes back to the blue line. A 1-2-2 power play set up here. Gilson coming back now, playing tic-tac. Not where they want the puck. Thornton set up in front of the net. That one got bounced away. Morrison leaves it. The shot. Joseph a save. Thornton trying to pick it up in front. That one blocked as Murray was there with the opportunity. Still 4 left on the power play, but Joseph the saves. The New York Times calls the practice one of the top 10 programs of the year. The LA Times says it's good, provocative television. Watch the all-new practice tomorrow at 10, 9 Central on ABC.
Just 4 seconds to go now on the Boston power play. Boston's a good face-off team. They try to set something up here with Teddy Donato out there. But again, Boston had a couple of shots, guys, but Curtis should make those saves. Those are bad angle shots on the power play. Exactly. It's your job.
From the side. And the Bruins haven't even come close to getting done. Is getting some attack from the middle of the ice.
Cleared out by Datsuk. 2 shots on that power play, but it is over. And that will be an icing call charged. Want to remind you, coming up, John and Barry from our studio. They'll be up next after our first period here. Look at the other games that are going on this afternoon. Avalanche Stars highlights, Rangers Islanders, and a half-season history. That's all coming up. And also want to remind you, we'll push ahead a little bit. Second intermission, I'm going to talk about the All-Star game that'll be seen right here on ABC from St. Paul, and about the players who have made that, including Lidstrom and Thornton, who are both going to be starters for their respective conferences.
It's been a long time since I've looked forward to an All-Star game as much as I am to this one in St. Paul. It should be great. I agree with you.
They love their hockey, and they are excited about having this All-Star game. It is going to be a great time, and maybe not even as cold as it is here in Boston today. It has just been absolutely frigid in the Northeast. 1 minute left to go in the period. Shots even at 8-8. But the Bruins have picked up the only goal so far. Boston's gone 0 for 2 on the power play. Point blank. That one blast knocked away. What a windup on the far side. And Joseph able to get there and take it away. Ralston coming on that far side. Set it up with Grosjean. The goal picked up by Maltby is 7th at the 8-minute mark. Whitney picked up the assist with Yzerman. Murray's pass, shot, save, Green, Murray, rebound. It's down there somewhere, and there's a whistle.
Perfect example of Detroit not getting the puck deep. They turned it over just inside the Boston blue line. And ever since Detroit got the 1-0 goal, Boston's been the better team. You turn the puck over inside the blue line, watch out.
Especially when the defensemen are changing. Yeah. See Yuri Fisher, number 8, he just got there in time to force a pass, but the defense were taking their time because they thought it was going to get in deep as well.
Fisher did a good job not allowing anybody to get to the rebound. The puck was sitting underneath Curtis Joseph.
Joseph coming up with some big saves. Chelios. Draper won the face-off. That's another thing Draper's been doing well. That's winning draws. 57% face-off wins effectiveness this season. And is played up the far side, not out of the zone as Gill's pass ended up off the dasher. Murray's in the middle here. Thornton moving and looking. Murray was cutting, trying to find some room. Murray goes to the corner for it. Boston with 3 seconds left to go, trying to get a shot off here. Comes up the near side boards, and they won't. And right at the end, Chelios gets into it with Morrison.
And the big man waded in. Al Gill.
That's the first scrum of the period. And I like it.
This is about carryover, too. Any kind of friction began in the 3-0 victory that Boston had Wednesday night in Detroit. That's the great thing about scheduling games right close to one another.
I think Boston needs more of that stuff on home ice. They need to establish their team with home ice wins in the second half of this season.
That's what they've not been able to do. After 1, the Detroit Red Wings have the 1-0 lead. John and Barry will be back in our studio. They'll be up after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
The NHL on ABC, brought to you by The Element from Honda. Every piece has its purpose. Campbell's Chunky Soup, dinner that fills you up right. Make it Campbell's instead. Best Buy, thousands of possibilities. Get yours. And Samuel Adams, when you're ready for a distinctive brew, Samuel Adams, always a good decision.
Welcome back, everybody. Fleet Center, Boston, and a power play in that scrum at the end of the first period. Sean O'Donnell of Boston took a 2-minute roughing. He's the only penalty that was picked up. So the Detroit Red Wings have a 1-0 lead on a Maltby goal. Get their first power play of the game. Lidstrom working the point. Has it. Drops it off. They will set up in front of the net. Datsuk, a tip. Comes to the near side to Zetterberg. In front of the net, Ray Whitney's the man. He'll work in front of Raycroft. Shots in the first were 10-8 in favor of Boston. But the only goal picked up by Maltby in a 5-on-5. Back over to Zetterberg in the middle, wide open. That one just deflected wide. Whitney was open for a moment. Lidstrom stepped up, couldn't get to it. Swept out. Donato couldn't clear the zone. Can't again. Zetterberg dumps it into the wide side corner. Nick Boynton coming over to get it, and he will clear.
Zetterberg played the point on the power play here. He's a forward. Looks pretty good. And they're trying to feed, of course, Brett Hull, who now goes off on a change.
But after sizzling through the first 30 games of the season, the Red Wings power play start to struggle a bit. We talked about the Bruins not getting shots from the middle of the ice. exactly what the problem is for the Detroit Red Wings. They're having trouble getting quality rubber on goals in the middle of the ice.
They were 0 for 6 the other night when Boston beat them 3-0 in Detroit. Detroit 0 for 6.
Their power play has gone just 9 for 76 over the last 20 games. I mean, both of these teams, their power plays are a disaster.
The one good part for Boston, though, is their penalty killing has finally gotten better, and a lot better.
Boston Bruins penalty killing, as you saw, is still 24th in the league, but they've given up only 2 power play goals in the last 53 chances. Lidstrom's got it. Working. Schneider. Shot. Deflected in front. Backhanded. Raycroft holds his ground.
Anytime you scout a Detroit power play, what's the one thing the coaches tell the goaltenders and the penalty killers? Do something about Holmstrom in front. And how Raycroft saw this, I don't know. This is a good point shot right through an absolute screen. And no rebound from Raycroft, the young goaltender. Schneider took a look, takes the shot. Look at the screen. 2 guys went by 4 legs.
And you know what? Most of the teams play Holmstrom the same way. You notice nobody was there trying to move him. Why? Because when he digs in, you can't move him, and then you've got 2 guys there screening Raycroft.
Big face-off win by Boston, cleared out. Thornton won it. First period face-offs, Boston's favor, 53%, not a big advantage. Ralston won 4 out of 5, leading Boston in draws in that first.
Datsuk had trouble for Detroit on the draws.
That is the end of the power play. 1 shot on it. So Detroit's 0 for 1 on the power play. Boston's 0 for 2. And we're back to 5-on-5 hockey, just getting underway here in the second period. There's Maltby, who picked up the goal, batted away. Lidstrom picks it up. He'll dump that one in. Raycroft went out, got it in the glove, and Draper moving in on him. Draper, there's that great hustle of one of the great grinders to Shanahan. Draper set that opportunity up. Thornton will pick it up. Thornton, their leader, has had 8 goals, 30 assists, 38 points on the year. The goal number not where he would want it to be. Up ice, Ray Whitney. Whitney, Boston got back in a hurry. Whitney O'Donnell on him. Takes him down, freed the puck up, came back to the line. Ralston, Woolley chips that one back in, delayed offside. No whistle on it as Boston clears off Samsonov's stick. Fisher came back to get it. Ralston's on him. Fisher turned it to the far side. Shanahan, just a little drop pass for Steve Yzerman. Poked away, Yuri Fisher. He'll come back to Woolley. Boston, 2 forecheckers in here, trying to get the turnover. Ralston was in behind the net. Shanahan will flip it out to center. Good work defensively on the forecheck. O'Donnell cleared it ahead. It bounced off the stick of Whitney, though. Woolley had it, lost it. Shanahan couldn't get it. Backed up through center ice. Big tug of war going on at center. O'Donnell battling Whitney. And Boston will take it back in their own end. Cleared ahead to Ralston. Boston needs a line change on the near side. A little room, couldn't connect. Ivan Homo was moving in. Again, a bouncing puck, though. Whitney back on him. Whitney. Official getting out of the way as Whitney puts it up against the boards. He'd almost take a whistle here. He's had a long shift for him and Yzerman.
And he's a long way from his bench here in the second period.
And this is what he didn't want to happen, a turnover deep in the zone. That takes a Detroit bounce, though. Came to center to Yzerman and intercepted by Hal Gill. Gill waits, they clear, they dump. Boston getting a line change completed, knocked away. Whitney still out there. What a long shift, number 41 for Detroit. He's trying to get set up in front of the net. Gill sends it back in behind the net. Murray coming over for it. Murray, Knuble, a little tip back in behind the net. Boston trying to get to the front here. Willie wouldn't let him go there. Big jam up. Knuble's got it. Leaves it at the bottom of the circle. Shot got deflected wide. Played back by Travis Green. Green comes through the dot. Turns to the forehand. Shot it wide of the net. Glenn Murray over to get it. Murray spins it. Detroit's got people on about their 4th minute on this shift here.
But they're battling.
Gill shot. Knocked down in front. Rebound. Knuble. Save made. Joseph reached out. Willie clears it around the net. Will he get out of the zone? No, it won't. Dan McGillis held it in.
Whitney's going to have to need. He's going to need oxygen when he gets to the bench.
But you know what? He did a great job.
Yeah.
He was up against Mike Knuble, and he got caught down low, meaning he had to do a lot of the fighting against the boards. Real trench work by Ray Whitney in about a 2-minute and 20-second shift, and he is out of gas right now.
He and Yzerman. You know what I noticed, Bill? Yzerman's a center on the line. But Yzerman stayed up on a defenseman in his own zone. Whitney is taking the center iceman's job down low. Maybe that's because of the leg problems that Yzerman's had.
Either that,
Whitney was down low the whole shift.
Or they just got switched. But Ray Whitney is at a big size disadvantage when he's down there because he is the smallest guy on that line.
He did a great job. I wonder if he'll have energy his next shift, though. That was a long time down there.
Joseph knocking that shot away of Boynton at the other end. Cleared back out the center to Lidstrom. 12-9, Boston leading in shots here, but it is again gone back to a defensive battle to start this second period. Whipped into the zone. Boston didn't have anybody there. Maltby was able to pick that off. And the Bruins again keep that forecheck pressure on, forcing the play up the middle of Thornton, who intercepts it. Thornton draws it back. Thornton will leave it for the D, and Boynton will ship that one into the corner, and the Bruins will change it up. Up the near side wall, just tipped back out to center. The Red Wings coming off the 3-0 loss on Wednesday, their last game, while Boston had the win against Pittsburgh on Thursday, 3-1. Detroit coach Dave Lewis.
Well, how consistent has this hockey team been? They have not lost consecutive games since October, the first month of the season.
You know what's just amazing about that for his players and his staff, Barry Smith, Joe Koser, Mike Krushelnyski, they're injuries. It's remarkable that a team like St. Louis, Detroit, even Los Angeles, with the amount of injuries they've had, they keep winning games, even though LA's starting to slide a little bit.
And key injuries in front, shot deflected away, Raycroft. That one bouncing puck. Dandino couldn't get a stick on it. Chelios will come back to get it. Move back out through center. Both of these goaltenders not tested with a lot of shots, but there have been some tough chances at each end. Lloyd Devereaux leaves it back in behind the net. Boston trying to hold it in. Squirts by Gilson on the far side. That's where Detroit puts the pressure on. Grosek came over and sent it in. That fourth line of Boston played only 3 shifts in that first period. Grosek, they are out there now. And when they get out there, they put some heat on. See that shot by Ted Donato? Donato leveling Yuri Fischer. Fischer is, as Bill mentioned, one of the biggest guys. There he is, number 8 for Detroit. He's been knocked around in this game by Boston.
He doesn't have a lot of power, though, for a big man because he doesn't have the balance that a lot of guys have.
And there's why that's so important. Puck came free to Ralston. He's in alone. Shot. Save made. Joseph cut the angle. Rebound trickles in, and it's held on to. These two teams have played a lot of great games with some interesting results over the last 10 meetings. How interesting? We'll tell you in a minute. These two teams who tape it up and play against one another, well, they've alternated wins in the last 10 meetings.
So whose turn is it today?
Detroit.
What's the score?
1-0
Detroit. But Boston's playing pretty well here in the second period. Not getting a lot of real good quality shots, but they're forcing the issue in Detroit's zone.
Joseph's made some nice saves.
Nobody's getting any real good quality stuff, though. You just want to hope if you're playing well that you don't break down for the big scoring chance.
Now Gill backhanded that one in, set up by the Ralston win on the draw. Joseph was able to knock it away. And the Red Wings move it over to Brendan Shanahan. Shanahan, a 17-goal season so far and 34 points. Gill takes the hit from Holmstrom. 2 heavyweights right there working in the corner. Held on to by Zetterberg. Zetterberg dropped it, a little opening far side. Lidstrom shot, saved, deflected away. May not have gotten all the way through.
Well, as you see, Lidstrom give Zetterberg a place to pass the puck. Lidstrom moved over, got open. Zetterberg hit him, shot on goal.
Lidstrom is under the numbers he usually puts up offensively, but not in defensive style. Next weekend, the NBA and ABC features 2 terrific matchups. Saturday, 3 Eastern, Kevin Garnett, Timberwolves take on Yao Ming and the Rockets. And on Sunday at 12:30 Eastern, 2-time league MVP Tim Duncan leads the defending champion Spurs against Paul Pierce and the Celtics next week at ABC, home of the NBA Finals. Great to have you with us here. Our first broadcast of the season of the National Hockey League and ABC. All the way through the Stanley Cup Finals, of course. Wherever they may be, we're more than halfway through this National Hockey League season already. Backed up off the boards, and out Fisher will come back to get it.
And the Red Wings got to the halfway point before anybody. Boy, they played a lot of games early in the season.
Great for a team going into the playoffs that's an older team to be able to have a second half that's going to be requiring less number of games. Puck hit with a high stick.
I think they need size, talking about Detroit. I think they need Hatcher back. They need McCarty back. You get guys with size that'll be beneficial for the second half of the season. And then when you get into the playoffs where you get into a grinding series,
yes,
Detroit's going to need that size.
You know, everybody talks about wanting to be a team that's hard to play against. The fact remains the Detroit Red Wings are not a hard team to play against. They're not tough physically. They don't hit,
but they win.
All they do is beat you. That's all they do.
A great offense. Sergei Fedorov, of course, leaving, signing the deal with the Mighty Ducks. What did Detroit do? They're scoring more this year than they did last year after losing him. He was a big offensive force. Chelios came back, big tie up there with Knubel as both of them hooked each other and hauled them down.
Gary talked about scoring more. I think Datsuk got a lot to do with that, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Datsuk, everybody on the team says without him, they would not be the #1 team in the National Hockey League. That's a lot to say for Pavel Datsyuk, the young player, 5th in the league in scoring.
And he got drafted by Detroit. The scouts had seen him play twice only. Twice.
Murray, good setup. That one's ripped. Travis Green checks the stick. He got that one 18 feet over the net.
That's one of the reasons Datsyuk was drafted 171st overall.
Oh, it came through and he never saw it.
It went off his own man. Whoosh. It might have been the defenseman Cromwell, and it deflected right into Curtis Joseph, who's been sharp here. He's had some strange plays around his net in this game. Here's just a simple wrist shot. Oh, there's one stick, a knee, a bounce, a skip, and he had to be sharp to hang on.
No problem.
It reminds me of the infield you used to play on when you were kids, playing shortstop.
If there's any goalie, though, in the NHL that can handle stuff like that, to me, it's Curtis Joseph, because he is a reaction-type goalie, a reflex goalie, and he gets a lot done with his athleticism, and he had to use it there.
36 years old, Joseph, 390 wins, his 8th most all-time NHL history among netminders. Datsyuk, whom we were talking about, sent that one in around the board. Schneider held it into Draper, leaves it for Hull. His shot. Rakoff redirects it into the corner. There's Datsyuk. What a move with the body. Protected it in order to get the pass set up near side. Draper at the dot. Open. Centered for Datsyuk. He bounced it up in the air. Rebound still there. Puck comes to the near side. The Celtics aren't playing tonight. The puck is bouncing. Dropped out to Thornton. Thornton leaves at far side and will head to the middle. Return past Lidstrom. Picked him up. Lidstrom has been out there working against Thornton along with Matthew Schneider and Chris Chelios defensively. When Thornton is on the ice, those 3 have drawn duty. Centering pass blocked by Datsyuk. That one comes off the dasher far side. 10:17 to go, second period. Maltby goal in the first, still holding up for Detroit.
Well, we've talked about the situation that the Detroit Red Wings are trying to deal with. Dominik Hasek is injured, but you know what's very interesting? If you look at their 3 goalies, Manny Legacy included, the numbers, including games played, through goals against average and save percentage, there is very little difference between the 3 of them. I mean, Manny Legacy's done a good job. Curtis Joseph has, so has Dominik Hasek. Kenny Holland, the GM, has said more than once, and he repeated it the other day, if Dominik Hasek's healthy, he's the guy that's going to play.
He's to be reevaluated on the 21st of January, right?
And yep, that groin injury continues to be the problem. I don't think they're going to do anything with Curtis Joseph.
I don't think they can.
I think they need to stay. They got a groin injury that keeps reoccurring on Hasek. Also, keep in mind, Dominik Hasek signed only through this year, and he's not a young guy. And Curtis Joseph has another year in his deal. Back in behind the net is Woolley. Woolley gets knocked down. Detroit cycling in the corner.
Detroit's only had 2 shots in this period, 1 on the power play.
Shanahan, the setup, drop for Holmstrom. He couldn't get to it as the puck went back to the corner. Good effort by Zetterberg to get it there. Shanahan, Zetterberg, and Holmstrom creating havoc in front of Raycroft. This will be icing.
One of the few pressure shifts, forechecking shifts Detroit has had.
Well, in case you haven't heard, Brett Hull is in the middle of a slump. How long? Longest one of his career. Pick a number. We'll tell you how long when we come back. Brett Hull has not scored a goal in 15 games. It's 5 games longer than his next longest career drought. But don't worry about Brett Hull. He led his team in assists in the month of December, so he's contributing. But as soon as he hit that magic number to move into number 3 all-time goal scoring, he hasn't scored since.
Does have a goal post in this game in the first period.
1 goal post and no goal. Shot in, sitting right there. Nobody can get a handle. Dandino, Devereaux were both there. Penalty coming up. Delayed call. It's going to be on Boston. Power play when we come back. Let's check in again with John and Barry.
Well, Barry, you pretend you're an official on this play. Solani gets creamed, but it looks like a clean check.
Well, David Oliver's a clean player right there. That's a shoulder check. It's what hockey's all about. Solani got hurt. That's unfortunate, but that was a good way to finish his check properly.
Stayed on the ice for about 5 minutes, then walked off under his own steam. Guys.
On the ice either.
Key people. Just when you think the Avs might be able to put a stretch together with healthy bodies, it's happening again, it looks like.
Power play opportunity here for Detroit. It'll be their second of the game. The penalty hooking call O'Donnell at 10:51. Only 1 shot on that first chance. Well, let's see whether or not Detroit can get this number 6 power play in the league going. You see Boston, they killed 51 out of 53. In, Yzerman dropped it back to the point. Matthew Schneider knocked it down, shot it wide of the net. Holmstrom, Yzerman, Shanahan up front of the power play, Lidstrom, and Matthew Schneider working the points for Detroit. On the near side, couldn't be knocked away. Yzerman covers, goes wide side. Shanahan, he's wide open, takes it, deflected. Holmstrom, Yzerman, shot blocked. Great play out in front with the body. Ted Donato got the body down and blocked that shot. Here's Holmstrom. They want Holmstrom down low, not out along the half wall here.
Through that.
Back up, Matthew Snyder, a shot through a screen, deflected and cleared Boynton.
Detroit did not have Whitney to start the power play. He was back in the locker room. He's now just returned to the bench. In fact, on the ice. I wonder if he was getting oxygen after that long shift we saw earlier in the period.
He had like a 6-minute shift out there that he took. I don't think he's been back out since. Matthew Snyder.
He's in the hyperbaric chamber somewhere in the room.
Number 41 of Detroit is out there now, and that'll be moved out, cleared out of there by Boston. So both of these teams continue to have enormous problems in their power play, and both of late, over almost a 15-20 game span, have had fantastic penalty kills, and it's continuing in this game. Cleared back in. Still 26 left on the Detroit power play. They'll shoot that around the near side boards. Got deflected off the wall, held in by Zetterberg. Boston challenging the points. Woolley's out there in a point now. Hull, Datsyuk, and Whitney up front on the power play. Near side for Zetterberg. Zetterberg, the 23-year-old, got it in front. Rolston was there. It started rolling towards the net.
And his life passed before his eyes.
Wow. That was close. Set in on Joseph, and the power play is over. One shot on that power play opportunity. So both teams continue with the 0 for going on the power play.
Great job by the Bruins. They have only allowed 5 Detroit shots since the Red Wings scored at the 8-minute mark of the first period.
And 2 of those on the power play. 1 on each power play that Detroit has had.
Because of plays like this, Brendan Shanahan wound up, took a shot. The rebound looked like it was going to come out for a freebie here for Steve Yzerman until number 40 for the Bruins, Ted Donato, rode into the rescue.
That's some play. You know, the Bruins were playing in New York just prior to Christmas, and Teddy Donato, and some, I'll tell you the story in a moment.
Oh, go ahead.
It's a long one.
Oh, it's a long one.
Let's tell story when we come back.
Near side, gunned in by
power play coming
in the
up.
corner. We're going to get a penalty here.
Maltby and Gilson, but after each other. I think Gilson's going, and Detroit will have another power play to try to make it a 2-0 game.
23 Boston, 2 minutes for interference.
So Detroit gets the advantage. Rod Martell, Stephen Wacom, the referees.
Guys, who was it that made the play on the goal? It was Maltby who scored after he forced the turnover by Gilson in the first period. That Donato story, the Bruins were in New York prior to Christmas, and the Bruins went up shopping on 5th Avenue and stopped by St. Patrick's Cathedral. A few Hail Marys for the Boston Bruins. As 4 of the players came out, and Donato was one of them, Hal Gill another, Raycroft the goaltender. A lady was screaming. It was a busy time of year. People all over the place screaming that she had lost her child. Somebody took her child. So the Bruins spread out. Sure enough, Hal Gill found the little guy, returned the little guy to his mom. Pretty good deal. Yeah. Thanks.
Motto is it pays to go to church.
The Hail Marys would.
And hang on to your child in New York.
That one a save made by Joseph on the point chance, short-handed. Detroit's 3rd power play opportunity. The interference call on Gilson at 13:50. Lidstrom back out on the power play unit. Into the corner. Travis Green let it go. Yzerman was there to get it, though. Yzerman finds Lidstrom. Lidstrom, they come right out on him. Travis Green's not going to give Lidstrom room. Gill had it knocked away. Yzerman got it. Yzerman, it was Holmstrom who knocked that puck away. Yzerman leaves it back. Holmstrom hit by Gill. 2 big guys right there working in front of the net. Gill on defense. Holmstrom for Detroit. Snyder shot, save, and cleared by Gill.
Raycroft did it again with Holmstrom in front. Raycroft finding the puck through traffic.
Yeah, he has to know where it is at the point. Once he knows where it is, then it's a matter of knowing when it's released, and if he can do that, then he just goes down and plays the percentages.
Shanahan brings it in. Power play leader Datsyuk, 7 power play goals for the Detroit Red Wings. There he is, number 13. Pavel Datsyuk back out to Snyder. Snyder is shot deflected. That by Whitney, and it goes up and into the netting.
I want to remind everybody that Thursday night hockey returns to ESPN this week. A big Western Conference showdown. The Dallas Stars, led by All-Stars Billy Guerin, Marty Turco, they'll take on Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, and the Colorado Avalanche. ESPN's exclusive coverage, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. It's also available in ESPN High Definition.
I got a question for you guys. That last shot that went up off the netting, came back down, the whistle sounded, of course the puck hit the netting, right? Should play be allowed to continue if the puck nicks off the netting and stays in play? That's being discussed a little bit.
I don't think it would be fair, but my answer is yes.
Yes.
The only one.
Datsyuk to Woolley. There's the netting. There's what we're talking about right there.
The puck. Now, it would take strange bounces back off the netting, and then maybe teams would ruin it by throwing the puck in from inside center ice, letting the puck hit the netting, drop down softly, and then forecheck like crazy.
They would.
But sometimes you just wonder, can they keep the play going? Maybe just higher glass would make the difference. But it's something being discussed.
Yep. Cleared back out of the zone. Scoring down in the National Hockey League yet one more time. And
how about Phoenix was scoring down?
Shutout. Congratulations to Brian Boucher. Man, what an achievement. 5 consecutive shutouts. Hadn't been done in 70 years.
It's amazing.
Good for him.
Streak's still going. And he's going to be in net, believe it or not. Whitney looking. He's not supposed to be the #1 goaltender, but he's not going anywhere while this is going on. Here's Thornton, who takes it away. 17 left on the Boston penalty, but they've got the puck. Thornton moves it, and he'll flip that one in, feathered it into the corner.
You know, one more thing about the puck coming off the mesh. If it increases the forecheck, then it's a good idea, and it would do that. Allow teams to dump it in from neutral zone, off the mesh, falls down on the ice. It would set up the forecheck.
And that's going to do it. 2 shots on that power play. They're unable to convert on it. It remains a 1-0 Detroit lead. Maltby's got the only goal, and that came back in the first period in a 5-on-5 setting. 17-13 the shots in favor of Boston. Handled by Fisher. Fisher working with Chelios. Drop back. There's Chelios, veteran defenseman, leads the charge. Here's Dandino. Dandino's got Devereaux in the middle. Dandino paid the price on the near side wall. Ralston picks it up. Detroit gets back on D. Ryan Ralston. That was Chelios who picked his stick up. Back into the middle to Dandino. 1 goal on the year for him. Pope checked away and out to center. There's Chelios over. Takes the bump from Ralston. Handled by Gill. Gill puts it back to the blue line. Chelios, he'll leave it back. And Fisher will have to turn it up ice. Fisher's only 23 years old. What a chance to learn as he works with Chris Chelios. At 1-0 lead for Detroit. You're watching ABC Sports Championship Television from the Fleet Center in Boston. I have the goal.
And Maltby with a great play on the goal. It was his forecheck that forced the turnover in the first period. Gilson was a defenseman. Whitney let Yzerman get the puck. Big shot by Whitney, and there's Maltby out of the corner to score on the rebound. Raycroft had made a great save. 1-0, the only goal in the game.
That's when the temperature was actually about 55 degrees here in Boston. It happened so long ago.
His 7th of the year. Thornton's going to get chased out of there. Joe will move in. Face-off won by Yzerman as he drew it back. And the Red Wings will start out of their own end. Neither team able to convert on the power play. And both goaltenders have made some tough saves and gotten it done. Thornton will lead the charge. Thornton moves it in, trying to drop it back. Again, double team. Thornton forced the issue. And Joseph will make the save backhander by Samsonov. And that creates some washing of the face with the very rough leather. Let's check in with John and Barry.
Islanders and the Rangers. Kavasha does most of the work for Papineau, right in front, left alone.
Biggest weakness of the Rangers, right in front of their net. They're not good in that area. You see Papineau wide open. Nobody picks him up.
2 guys standing right around him. So the Islanders back in this one, down just 3-1.
Rangers, thanks, guys. With the Rangers, they're like a box of chocolates, guys. You never know from period to period what's going to happen.
They need points. What a battle we said from the beginning of the year. There was no question there were going to be a number of teams, a grouping of teams in each conference battling for the playoffs.
Rangers next week have a home-and-home with the Boston Bruins. So it'll be actually about 10 days. So that'll be a big series for both teams.
Well, the Bruins are in the middle of the pack now in the Eastern Conference. But only a week ago, they were one of those teams bunched into the playoff mix at the bottom.
Yep, they've gone 3-0-1 in their last 4 games. That has helped them move them to the number 5 spot in the East. The top 8 teams, of course, in each conference make it. Our Dodge Intermission Report, New York, New York. Highlights of that game, Korea and company taking on the Stars. And they're going to talk about the All-Star game as the starters have been announced. We'll have that game, as we said, on ABC coming up in February from St. Paul, Minnesota. Thornton tipped back in. Curtis Joseph directing traffic to Willie. Willie wants the quick wraparound far side. Still loose against the wall. Patrice Bergeron able to knock it away. Got it away to Samsonov. Samsonov, they cycle it in the corner. Bergeron's in front of the net. Samsonov's there now. He's open. Samsonov, a shot deflected on a skate. Shanahan will pick it up and clear.
A good job by Jason Woolley. He stuck with the program, and just when Samsonov was going to release, he did what he had to do, being a small guy himself. Went for the stick. Samsonov didn't have anything on the shot.
Billy, his two teammates covered the other Bruins near the net, too. Real good defensive coverage by Detroit.
Bergeron sends it in. Bergeron 24 points, 11 goals. He is third among rookie scorers. Cleared back in by Chelios. And behind the net, Boynton takes a look. And Zetterberg moving in on him. That created a turnover to Shanahan. Shanahan jammed up against the wall by Travis Green. Shanahan kicked it away. Glenn Murray got it. Murray trying to clear it out. Couldn't get it there. Zetterberg reached. Boston clears, but it will be an icing call on the touch.
Chelios made sure he turned to the middle, not to the boards, so he would make sure that it was icing. You know, during the TV timeout a few moments ago, Bill Clement up here in the booth asked me a very important question. When Hal Gill found that little child that belonged to the lady outside St. Patrick's Cathedral, you said, how do you know which one? Which one was hers? And that's a good question. The lady was yelling, he's wearing a green jacket, jeans on, and I forgot to get that part into the story.
It's very good, though. I thought he just said to the kid, are you lost? And the kid said yes, and that was the end of that.
I thought Bill asked a good question.
Are you the kid that lost your mother?
I'm here to help you. Datsuk trying to center it, bounces it off the back of the net. Datsuk centered it, save Raycroft. That had an angle on it, and Ralston gets it out of there. Nicholas Kronwall back to get it. Kronwall, 16 games. Working defense, Hatcher out of there, moved back in. Datsuk intercepted, cleared out of the zone. Morrison, great to have you with us here on ABC. John Davidson, Bill Clement, I'm Gary Thorne. Our coverage of the NHL continues through the Stanley Cup playoffs and finals. Games on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2 all season long. And at 24 left to go here in the second period. Matthew Snyder on the touch for the icing call.
Well, we've mentioned what kind of season Chris Draper is having. A career year in goals, terrific plus minus. I talked to him before the game and said, are you enjoying this? He said, you know what, the first half of the season I was kind of in denial. And anytime anybody asked him, you know, you're close, you're getting close, he didn't want to talk about it, he didn't want to think about it. Then he said to me, a week ago, I said to myself, this whole thing's going to go by and I'm not even going to enjoy it. So I've got to start saying, you know what, roll with it. You know, forget the denial about what kind of season I'm having. He was afraid it would go away. It's not going away.
His previous high in a year, 15 goals. Right now, he's got 18. And he's playing some great D as a grinder. Shot, Joseph, save, rebound, just chipped away before Murray could get there.
And Maltby just went to the bench. He got injured, a leg injury at the Boston net. He's over and in some pain on the Detroit bench.
He's the goal scorer so far in this game. Let's check in again with John and Barry.
Well, guys, Peter Forsberg isn't one of the best assist men in the league for no reason. Watch him wait his time and then thread the needle.
A couple things here. Threads the needle, waits his time. Watch a little saucer pass there, and Tanguay. No more as the passer puts her upstairs over the shoulder.
Avs up 2-0 now.
About a 6 by 6 inch by 6 inch opening for Alex Tanguay. What a sniper, what a shot.
And Barry and John talked about the pass by Forsberg. He waited just perfect timing with the pass.
Back in behind the net is Samsonov. Samsonov turning it back out in front again, trying to find anybody in front of the net. Return pass gets blocked into the corners. Ralston tried to put it there, and Detroit clears it out of the zone. Detroit's just kind of gone into the four corners here. They've got a 1-goal lead. That's going to be a 2-line pass with 27 seconds left to go, and they're just making that 1-point lead stand up.
Well, for Dave Lewis, Draper had to go on the Yzerman line with Maltby having the problem with his legs, so some adjustment for Dave Lewis and his team at the bench. There's Draper. You know, you mentioned about his goal-scoring guys and how well he's played. Can you talk Selke Trophy, maybe best defensive forward, along with the goals that he's got?
Can't imagine anybody. I would pick him right now to win the Selke Trophy as the top defensive forward, because he's scoring more than he's ever scored in his career, but his defense hasn't dropped off.
He's a plus 21. He's tied for second in the league in plus minus. So while he's putting the offense together when they need it, he's continued to play that grind defense that he was previously most noted for.
3 shorthanded goals of his 18. And you know, the other thing, in watching him train, did a thing with him in Detroit a couple of years ago, plyometrics, where you stand still and jump up on the box. It's about 3-4 feet high. The man has worked on his legs so well, and that allows him to skate so well.
You mean all the times I'm in a bar jumping up on the stool, I'm doing biometrics? Is that what you're saying?
No, not bio.
Oh, sorry. We've completed 2 periods. Detroit's got the 1-0 lead over Boston. John and Barry from our studio. Dodge Intermission Report after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Get up, drop the bombshell.
Crosby, the only man to put it home on a 1-0 lead. Third period. Welcome back, everybody. The Bill Clement, John Davidson. I'm Gary Thorne. Our coverage of the National Hockey League on ABC. Fleet Center, Boston is the site. Lidstrom clears it around the far side. Through 2 periods, Boston has outshot Detroit 19-14. Maltby's the man who's got the lone goal. Cleared in, and it is onside. Bergeron had that one batted up in the air to Thornton. Got a little room. Thornton shot. Joseph save. Rebound. Comes back up to the blue line. Looking into the middle. Thornton backhander. That gets blocked. Penalty coming. And a power play for Boston.
This whole sequence started with Joe Thornton doing something that Mike Sullivan really wants him to keep doing, and that's finishing his check. He eliminated Nick Lidstrom along the sidewall. Watch this. Right here. Crunch on the right of your screen. He took out Nick Lidstrom, and when the puck got to the front, who was able to get there first? That's why you finish your check.
Well, that leads to the power play. As Matthew Schneider's in the box. Boston's coaches are charting all those, Bill, all the finished checks and the ones where players don't finish the checks. And they say that's had a lot to do with turning their game around for the better.
Here's a big chance for the Boston Bruins, a power play, and they get the face-off in the offensive zone. Thornton lost that one, cleared out of the zone by Lidstrom. Cross-checking on Matthew Schneider 28 seconds into the third period. Each team has now had 3 power plays in the game, with neither converting, as the short-handed units have done an outstanding job.
Yeah, Detroit hasn't allowed a power play goal in over 5 games now.
Detroit now, the last 18 chances, the opposition hasn't scored, and they're short-handed. Lidstrom trying to bring it in. Short-handed opportunity. Shot save made. Raycroft.
Started with Draper in the Detroit zone. He lifted the stick of Gilson, and they took the puck away, went in and had the scoring chance.
He gets a second chance. Lidstrom skating out there as though he's invisible.
No kidding. But, you know, the first scoring chance, it was a broken play. He tried to pass to Chelios, and it came right back to him.
Shanahan a chance on a turnover on the far side with Yzerman helping. 3 chances, short-handed.
Yeah, the penalty killers are outworking the power play unit.
And the Boston fans not happy with it, lending their Bronx cheer, and that's going to be a 2-line pass. 47 seconds left on the Boston power play.
Held without a goal in 35 of 62 periods at home this season. That is one of the reasons the Boston Bruins are a sub-500 team at home, and that's got to change for them to go any place this season. They've just had a painful time scoring goals anywhere. Only once in their last 18 have they scored more than 3 goals. Once.
And here at home, they are averaging 1.95 goals a game. That is dead last in goals per game at home. Lapointe turns it. Power play Boston still underway. Lapointe brings it all the way in. Knocked away Fisher. Sometimes that's what happens. It's not going well, so somebody tries to do it 1-on-5. Doesn't work.
Not often.
Not often, unless you're Bobby Orr. Moved back, or Gretzky. Brought back in by Bergeron, brings it into the zone.
Or
Bergeron. Hull. Fans wanted to call on Woolley, who took him down. Didn't get it. Ralston a chance. Save. That went through. Bergeron was setting up the screen. Nobody back along the points. Power play's over. They got 1 shot on that power play. More chances for Detroit shorthanded on Boston's power play. And we're back to 5-on-5. Figure this number out.
That's kind of strange, isn't it?
I'll get back to you when I got it figured out.
Except for substantial.
Except for the fact that teams come and usually try to play conservative road games, but they do that in every building. And, you know, teams usually just have a little more juice at home. Therefore, they usually score more.
And can't answer that one. In behind the net, Groshek. Knocked away by Murray. Some line changes here now for the Boston Bruins. Cleared out by Hull. Boynton knocks it back the other way. Bruins trying to find some offense. They are led in scoring by Thornton. In goals by Knuble, who's got 13. Murray's got 12. Datsuk, and a penalty coming. Delayed call on Datsuk. Unfortunately for Boston, no injury. That tip pass went wide, and that was the man who got hit, Groshek.
Oh, did he get hit by Datsuk? Groshek, I think, turned, but Datsuk hit him right on the numbers from behind. Bruin players are all yapping at Datsuk as he'll go. Oh, man. Groshek hasn't had a ton of ice time, and he looks like he got banged. Even the bridge of his nose may have been cut on the play.
I don't think
major.
I don't think Pavel Datsyuk thought he was going to turn back. You know that Datsyuk wouldn't want to take the penalty right now, but look, he's
5 minutes, he's gone.
Oh, man.
It's a major. Hitting from behind. He lined him up from behind, didn't hold up. And Grosek was about 3 feet from the boards. He's got him from behind. And boom. Oh, and he hit his head on the glass.
Right on that
and they made the decision. It's a major penalty.
And Grosek is leaving into the Boston dressing room. But a 5-minute major on Pavel Datsyuk, and he's gone.
Grosek is bent over at the waist. He had his bell awrung.
Yeah, he hit the glass. He whiplashed into the boards. I still can't imagine that Pavel Datsyuk intentionally wanted to take him from behind. But when Michael Grosek put on the brakes, that left him with his back to him. See when he put on the brakes and stopped? I mean, look.
It was almost from the left side of Grosek, but he still created the injury from behind, so the referee made the call.
What a chance for Boston. Keep in mind, they get the full 5 minutes. As many power play goals as they can score. Samsonov. That one's lost. What an effort by Draper to move it out of there. Boston gets it back. Samsonov skating in, lays it. Power play for Boston. Draper, a fine effort to get it up the first time. Samsonov working along the half boards on the far side. They got Thornton set up in front. Shot deflected. Boynton waits. Shot off the blocker. Big save by Joseph. Datsyuk, the boarding call at 3:20 and a game misconduct. He's gone for the game. In front, chipped away by Lidstrom. Not out of the zone. Morrison. Back along that far side point, will now head to the middle. Samsonov. Thornton comes to the mid slot. Morrison drops it back. They're getting Thornton in the high slot now, and he's watched by Draper. Draper's going back and forth to the blue line. Shot blocked again. Picked up by Maltby. Maltby clear.
Draper. Sorry, Billy.
The power play unit for Boston, though, just didn't look like it. They knew what they wanted to do. I mean, they tried 3 or 4 different things, and nothing looked comfortable.
Draper, Maltby, Lidstrom, and Schneider are out there on the penalty kill. And as Gary mentioned earlier in the game, 11 shorthanded goals. That scares the power play.
Brought back in by Ralston. Ralston dropped the Knuble. Save. Rebound. Score! Backhander Martin Lapointe.
And he got clipped up high, too. I don't think there's going to be another call, but Marty Lapointe has tied it, and in the process taken a lick on the side of the face. Looked like it was up around his ear.
Bad angle shot by Knuble that went off the glove of Curtis Joseph right out front. A nice power play goal in a rush. That's Ralston transporting the puck. Knuble's bad angle shot should be caught. Wasn't. And there's Lapointe taking a slap by Shanahan with a stick to the face. He scores the power play goal. Lapointe's gone for repairs, and I think Shanahan got away with that.
He did. From our Southwest Airlines goal cam, the rebound caromed off about 45-degree angle off of Joseph right out to Lapointe. Watch Shanahan come up here. Bang!
Oh, man.
I think he caught him in the ear. It actually lifted his helmet up at the same time. So right now, Mike Sullivan behind the Bruins bench is saying, okay, I need some volunteers for the power play. Our bench is getting smaller.
Or he's saying that should be a double minor to Shanahan, and it should be a 2-man advantage for over 3 minutes.
That's a break for the Detroit Red Wings on the clear high sticking. So Boston's got 1 power play. Shanahan picks up the loose puck. Boston still with 3:08 left on the 5-minute advantage. Shanahan turns and clears with Boston changing. Bruins getting a new power play unit in. Shanahan on the far side again. Trying to push it up the glass. Couldn't get it there. Bowman was there to knock it away. Draper from Shanahan. Shorthanded. Shanahan's on the right. Fisher a trailer. Draper back to Fisher. He's in. Shorthanded save. Raycroft. And the net comes off the mooring as Draper in a collision hit the net.
I think McGillis drove him into the net, knocked the netting off the mooring. Raycroft has had little work the last 2 periods, and for him to come up with a big save like that was special. What a job by Fisher, the defenseman, number 8, to jump into the play.
Watch what he does here, though. He made the right play. Fisher did. He waited for Raycroft to hopefully slide out of the way, but Raycroft was patient enough that he was still watching his cage.
You know, it's too bad for the Bruins that Draper was shoved into the net and caused the stoppage, because that would have trapped some of the penalty killers for the Bruins on their power play to head up on the rush.
The power play goal at 4:46. Lapointe gets his 8th, his first goal in 13 games. Knuble and Ralston. The assist. Murray tied up from behind. A fine play by Zetterberg on the back check. O'Donnell's working out on the point. The wind-up chance. Save made by Joseph. and swung out of the zone.
Guys, that Thornton was right in front on the power play. That normally is where Lapointe is, but he's gone with the injury. That's usually where he stands on the Boston power play, right in front of the net.
Matthew Snyder cleared it the length of the ice. 2:09 left on the 5-minute advantage. Intercepted Whitney, sends it in. Raycroft knocked it away. Picked back up again by Samsonov. Samsonov, 7-goal scorer. He's got a goal and 2 assists in the last 3 games, and again it's cleared Lidstrom.
Samsonov only 8 games last year because of wrist surgery, and he's not right in watching him handle a puck. He does not have his game back yet.
Well, he came back too after missing 9 from a knee this year, so he's had a tough go of it, but he's like an Emmett Smith, 5'8", 205 pounds, 200.
Bad pass by Chelios. Joseph the save. Rebound knocked away. They look to set it up in front. Maltby with the big hit. Lost the stick. Shot. Joseph, side of the net, reaching for it, and hangs on. Big effort. Patrice Bergeron, the youngster, was part of that with Knuble.
Man, just think of an 18-year-old kid doing something like that. He was in the corner. There was some hitting. He drove to the net. Youth is not a problem for this guy. It doesn't haul him down. It makes him better. Watch the puck end up deep. There's Bergeron, looks around, nobody open, takes the hit, doesn't go down. Now he has gotten away from 2 players that tries to jam the puck in past Curtis Joseph. What a good young player.
All the Boston people say he is fearless.
Yeah.
And is very strong in his skates. There's Marty Lapointe back out on the ice.
It's his landlord, isn't it, Bill?
He's
For
living with
Bergeron?
Marty and his wife and family, you bet.
And Marty said to the kid, he says, kid, if you go out and score, just score, don't talk, just play the game. Don't talk, don't make the opposition get mad at you. And young kid Bergeron has taken advice very well.
I wonder if he's paying rent.
Back to McGillis. He doesn't need to. 40,000 square feet. They don't even know he's in the house.
He's got the spare room, doesn't he?
Yeah, the spare wing.
Brings it down the wall. Stick picked up there by Mike Knuble. Power play down to 1:06. Boston a full 5 minutes worth of power play time. Lapointe has scored 1 power play goal to tie it at 1-1. And it's cleared out of there. Detroit changing up again on their penalty killer. Keep in mind they have lost Datsuk with that gamer, so he's gone for the game. Back in Samsonov, centered Murray. Murray couldn't handle a bouncing puck. Back out on top, 43 left on the power play. They set up Thornton in front of the net. Samsonov looking. They're leaving him room. Ralston a shot. Save. Rebound came deep. Maltby clears. Great third period here. The National Hockey League and ABC. We're at the Fleet Center in Boston. Maltby's goal held up from the first period until the power play goal here in the third. Short-handed. Draper let go of the backhand chance and took it to the wall. Draper spun around, lost control of it. Moving out is Murray. Murray to the red. Samsonov's got to come back. They get onside. Brings it in. Offside.
11 seconds to go on the Datsuk major. Datsuk will not be back. You know, guys, he had played 44 games prior to this one. Only 12 penalty minutes. So he's gone. The question is for Detroit is who's going to be the center iceman for Brett Hull?
Well, they've got enough centers. I think they'll be able to work that out. But there's a lot of stick work in front, too. Watch Glenn Murray in front. Look at the chop on the back of his neck from Matthew Schneider. No call on that one either. So the Bruins are just getting bludgeoned in front of Curtis Joseph, and nothing to show for it except bruises and cuts.
And as we get ready to drop the puck, only 11 seconds to go on the major, and
Boston had too many men on the ice, and the door is still open.
Wow. I thought they'd blown it down for an offside, and I thought, gosh, it wasn't offside, and turns out it wasn't. Mike Sullivan doesn't like it.
Yeah, one of the linesmen picked up that call. Kevin Collins, Pierre Rasico, the linesman. So they're going to lose the final 11 seconds. Boston will on their power play. And we skate 4-on-4. More importantly, Detroit is going to get a power play right back here. So Boston with a 5-minute major and a 5-minute power play picked up the Lapointe power play goal. Now the Detroit Red Wings have a power play opportunity with 1:42 on the Boston penalty. Matthew Snyder and Lidstrom are out to play the points on this power play unit. The only power play goal we've had in this game is the one that's been picked up by Lapointe on that last effort. The bench minor comes here at midway through this third period. It'll be the 4th power play chance for Detroit. Knocked away by Brett Hull. Into the corner. Bruins cleared to Gill behind the net. Now Gill will turn and ship it out of there. We told you these teams have traded victories over the last 10 meetings. It's Detroit's turn to win if you go by that. Detroit's last 2 wins have been in overtime. That one shot back into the corner for Yzerman. Off the wall, he and Shanahan are over there. Shanahan chipped it away. Got it back to Hull. Hull looking for Lidstrom up top. Nick Lidstrom a shot. Hull the tip. Raycroft there and held it. Move back up the near side. Trying to get Hull open in that middle if they can. Battle in front. Shanahan is there. Yzerman to Shanahan. Oh, and underneath the stick. Shanahan had an opportunity. He had an angle. Yzerman gets it back. Yzerman, great pass. Shot, broken stick. Yzerman the rebound, couldn't get it home.
That was still a great save. With Lidstrom breaking his stick, snapped it in half. The changeup shot. Raycroft stayed with it.
How about that pass? All the way across ice. The hit show is back. 8 celebrity players will compete in extreme challenges. All but one is getting played. Celebrity Mole, Yucatan, 10, 9 Central, ABC, Wednesday.
I think I saw Barry Melrose in the background there, didn't I?
He was the pinata.
He is one of those getting
You're gonna get your right-in votes for that.
32 seconds left on the Detroit power play.
Detroit 4 men up, only 1 man back. That's Chelios to try to win the draw.
You see the Detroit Red Wings outscoring opponents in the third, a +20 differential. Third best in the third period in the NHL.
What that tells you is Detroit doesn't turtle in a third period of any game. They keep trying to come at you.
Winners do that, don't they? They're checking the clock here to make sure the clock stopped when the whistle sounded.
They can go back and look at the videotape. You see him doing that in the videotape room.
It says 32 seconds still remaining on the Boston penalty for too many men on the ice. The time we've been told is correct.
And it'll be off the draw, won by Zetterberg, Chelios, and Woolley playing back. Woolley shot, deflected. Holmstrom was set up in front, it never got through.
Good play by Sean O'Donnell.
He's hurting.
Oh, he is hurt. He took it on the side of the leg, but he is the guy that his coach Mike Sullivan identified to us before the game as his most consistent blue liner from wire to wire so far this season.
Boston black and blue game for them here. Into the corner. Travis Green had it. 8 seconds left on the Detroit power play. Green did battle, poked it away along the boards, and then tried to glove it out of there. It's underneath him, and that will get whistled. If you don't have a stick, hang on. Third period tied 1-1. Boston and Detroit with 9:51. 5-on-5 when we come back. Trying to keep their streak alive. 3-0-1 in the last 4. LaPointe's tied this game up with a power play goal. There's Marty LaPointe.
Bloody but unbound. The Bruins, they have taken a licking in the third. Groschick got hit. That led to a major. On the ensuing power play, LaPointe scored but got nicked, I think, behind his ear. And then this one in front. Watch the man in the Bruins jersey get chopped in the back of the neck. That was Glenn Murray off the stick of Matthew Schneider.
That was
that could have been yeah, it was a Paul Bunyan. That could have been a major penalty. He's lucky that wasn't spotted.
Great outdoor games.
Maybe spotted by people in the NHL office.
Fisher came back to get it. Hit put on Dandino in the corner. Back for Fisher. Clears it around the near side. Shot didn't get much of that. Still held down low Murray. Murray able to block that. Gilson started. He better go back as it's cleared out by Maltby to Draper. And Datsuk gone, so we'll see some revisions in these lines now for the Detroit Red Wings. Knocked out by Fisher. Draper cuts through the middle. Fisher will move it up into the zone. And Draper cutting. That was at center ice, and that is offside.
Right away, you see a quick change by Detroit. Dandino, who's a converted defenseman to a forward, number 11, has been moved up to play on one of the lines. So both teams have primarily played a 3-line game. Dandino a little more ice time on the wing now that Datsuk, the centerman, is gone. The biggest thing is who will be Brett Hull's centerman?
Well, they've got some candidates, the Red Wings, for centerman. Got Draper, Yzerman, Whitney, Zetterberg, Mike Maurer. So they still
Maurer is out there right now.
Yeah, they've got 5 bona fide centers that can play that position.
Maurer, Shanahan, and Hull on this line. Travis Green dumped it in behind the net. Green has played a strong game on the puck. Shanahan bounced that one away from the wall. Hull's got it. I'll let it poke checked away by Glenn Murray. Glenn Murray on the intercept. Murray in. Save Joseph. Keep that one in mind. Glenn Murray, the opportunity and a big save on a turnover chance. Centering pass knocked away from Green. Cleared out the center off Hull. Curtis Joseph, an enormous save right there. Both teams changing it up. Zetterberg coming back to get it. We mentioned Murray's had 2 consecutive 40-goal scoring seasons. Not one on that last one.
Well, at the other end from Andrew Raycroft is the highest paid goalie in the world, Curtis Joseph. He looked like it on the last save. We'll show it to you when we come back. Glenn Murray came close, or at least as close as a breakaway would allow him to get. Watch this. So Glenn Murray came up the boards, hit the puck with his toe from Brett Hull. then went over and stripped it from Kronwall and went in and tried 5-hole, and Curtis Joseph just ate him alive.
Curtis Joseph 1-1 game, 9 minutes to go in the third period at the time of this play. Comes up, and Curtis made it look easy, didn't he? He read the play. He knew the shot was headed towards or between the legs, and he made just a fine save. Made it look easy.
Zetterberg had it going down the middle. Bruins able to knock it away. Boynton's got it. Down to 8:16 to go here in the third. 29-21 shots in favor of Boston. LaPointe has tied it. Mulkey had the goal in the first for the Detroit Red Wings. Nice little feather pass to Zetterberg. Lidstrom got it out of there. Moving back in, Yzerman's line out there. Matthew Snyder, the defenseman, goes down low, gets tied up. Played by Whitney. Whitney up the wall, turns it the other way with Ralston on him, trying to get it in the middle of Lidstrom. Zetterberg cut over, got taken down. He got knocked down by Hummel. Hummel over there doing battle in front of the Boston bench. Bruins will use the opportunity to change it up. Whitney had knocked it away, couldn't get it there. Boston gets it back, trying to stay on side, won't matter. Almost a break right there for Whitney.
What a read by Lidstrom. Almost a breakaway. Lidstrom knocked the puck out of the air with his hand, and one quick pass, it almost worked.
Lidstrom got it ahead. Yzerman will tip that one into the zone. Bruins back. Gilson comes back to get it. Gilson waiting. Bruins got a change completed. Gilson leaves it back for Sean O'Donnell. Moved up the near side, pinching in. Detroit forcing the errant pass. Fisher goes wide side with it. 1-1. Cleared back in from center by Dandenault. Too hard for Raycroft to even think about going back on that one. Maltby tried to run it into the middle. Thornton stole it. Gets it up to Samsonov. Samsonov pushes that into the corner. Bergeron was coming up. Cleared away. Again up the half wall. Draper moves it out. 3-on-3. Dandenault into the corner. Gets pinned up over there. Good play by Sean O'Donnell. Wouldn't let him go by. Maltby moved up. Takes a fly on the ice as he tried to knock that down. And Detroit back in their own end with it. Kronwall off the near side. Kronwall is passed. That's too far ahead. Now both teams not wanting to make a costly mistake here to give the other a chance. Brendan Shanahan. Shanahan clears it around the boards. Trying to screen. Took it away from Hull. Keep it in down low. Murray's back in behind the net. Knuble there with a puck. Knuble trying to turn it on Shanahan. Knuble sets the little pick. That moved right back into the corner. Hull got it out of there to Shanahan. Shanahan to the red. Dumps it over for Woolley. Woolley poke checked away. Murray's got it. Murray lost it. Into the zone. A little opening. Back shot. Save made as Hull had the opportunity. Raycroft got it. Good finish for you with 5:58 to go. Boston, Detroit. They're knotted up at 1 apiece.
Well, in a game like this, even the goal scorers like Brendan Shanahan have to get into it defensively with 5:58 to go in a 1-1 game. He did that on Mike Knuble in the corner, stayed with him. Knuble kept trying to spin off of him, and finally help arrived in the form of Brett Hull to help out Brendan Shanahan, and away they went. But good job of persistence and tenacity by Brendan Shanahan.
The 18th all-time leading goal scorer, showing you some defense. Yzerman to save Raycroft, and he tips it away. Whitney and Boynton do battle on the far side. Chelios can hold it in. Fisher back. Fisher back in his own zone. We're 1-1. This game has come alive here in the third period. Dandenault looking at Whitney cutting. Willie's open. Willie in. Shot! And he ripped it on the far side wide. What a great opportunity down low that time. A lot of room. Steve Yzerman coming through the middle. And Yzerman's not going to miss many of those.
And Whitney set him up with a beautiful pass.
Let's check in with John and Barry.
Because it's time for the Labatt Blue Break. Scott Young makes the defense look like they're transparent.
Scott Young has not had a great offensive year. That's only his 5th goal, so maybe this is a sign of good things to come for Scott Young and the Dallas Stars.
3 in his last 3 games as well. 4-1 still the lead.
Will their season be like this game? Too little, too late.
Made a run at getting some points up.
You're going to play Colorado and take penalties and not kill them. You're in trouble. Tanguay with 2 power play goals.
That's an off to Thornton. Thornton save. Curtis Joseph, a 5-hole attempt again.
Well, Boston has kept this line together all game long, and Cujo comes up with another giant save. This was a good little pass by Samsonov to Jumbo Joe. Joe was in tight, and Curtis Joseph is not letting the puck slide through him at all. Here's a reverse angle look at it. Samsonov with a nice pass, and look at Cujo was down waiting for it. Nothing sliding through.
Curtis Joseph And Andrew Rakoff getting the job done in net for these two teams. O'Donnell put a hit on, but also got dumped. Puck came back to center. That's a Bruins bounce. Bergeron up with it. Youngster tries to move in. Lidstrom wouldn't let him go by. Joseph came out to play it. He gets back in net. It came to center. Offside.
Even on that play, Curtis Joseph goes to the backhand side all the time with his stick, doesn't he? Even on that play, he went out and turned his body and used the backhand side.
At the other end, before that play by Curtis Joseph, the Red Wings' Steve Yzerman came in, made a great move around Nick Boynton, tried to go high to the glove, but you know what? He ended up too close to Raycroft.
Did Raycroft get that maybe with his glove?
He might have gotten a piece of it, but when you get so close, you got no net to shoot at.
That was a nice play by Whitney, that 360 inside the zone, set up the pass like Gretzky used to do all the time.
Up the near side boards, Boston. Jolson came over to help hold it in. The official sets the pick on that one. Detroit clears it. It was touched. There'll be no whistle. Played back, Raycroft. Raycroft, the 23-year-old. He beat Detroit with a shutout on Wednesday of this week, 3-0, and has given up only one here on the 24 Detroit shots. That ends up in the netting. Faceoff stays in the zone. Next weekend, the NBA and ABC will feature two terrific matchups at 3 Eastern. Kevin Garnett, Timberwolves, Yao Ming, and the Rockets. And on Sunday at 12:30 Eastern, it'll be two-time league MVP Tim Duncan leading the defending champion Spurs against Paul Pierce and the Celtics. ABC, home of the NBA Finals. That's all coming up next weekend. Faceoff is one into the corner. Chelios to Fisher. Fisher trying to bounce out to Shanahan. Stolen by LaPointe, who gets a chance. And that will be held on to.
Rare shift for Ted Donato here, as one of his line mates on the fourth line not in the game now. That's Grosek gone with the injury. He's a good face-off man, but on the other side of the ice, they will go with Ralston, who's had a good face-off game. And you talk about face-offs in a 1-1 game with only 4 minutes to go.
Well, guess what, JD? They just switched it around. Now Marty LaPointe's going in because it's Steve Yzerman, a right-hander.
It's a right-hander, yeah, to draw the puck back. And they just took Hull off the ice. Mowers has been a centerman here in the third period ever since Datsuk got tossed.
Boston trying to make some late changes here. They get the matchups they wanted out there. LaPointe on the draw against Yzerman, who won it. Chelios clears it back. The tip by Whitney doesn't clear the zone. Knocked away by Ralston over there. Zetterberg will move in near side. Boynton will get there ahead of him. Boynton clears it up. Fisher moved in. Couldn't get to it. Jan.10 LaPointe, who's got the Boston goal, clears it out of the zone. Looking up ice. Not a lot of room. Puck stayed. Donato got dumped as he had to turn around to try and find it. He's still in the zone, way offside. So this will draw a whistle. Face off the center. We'll check in again with John and Barry.
Well, Dallas trying to stay alive in this game against Colorado. Jason Arnott gets it to a 2-goal game.
Well, Tony Granato's not going to like these last 2 goals Dallas scored. Both from the middle of the range, both with defensemen around them, not getting the job done.
4-2, Avalanche holding on.
Afternoon hockey around the nation, and updated as we go along here with 3:30 left to go in this one. Boston Bruins have already lined up 10 ties this season, including 7 of the 10 here at home. We've got a 1-1 game going here with 3:20 left to go. Barton at his own end. Samsonov bounced over his stick. Schneider, Lidstrom with it. His own blue line. Lidstrom ahead. He'll be backed into the zone. Backhander wide of the net from Maltby. O'Donnell around. Samsonov again just flips it up. Ends up going on the Boston bench. Face off back in the Boston end.
Shots are now 31-24 in favor of Boston. Interesting with Boston, Andrew Raycroft becoming their #1 goaltender. During the offseason, Raycroft put on 15 pounds by staying in the Boston area and working out, lifting weights, doing all kinds of things. And they think that's made him quicker in net with feet, his quickness of his feet, along with more stamina. Here he is playing 3 games in a row and playing very well.
He is 12th in the league in goals against. Held in. Shanahan, the chance by Jason Woolley. That one high and off the glass hard. Mowers sends it back for Shanahan. Green on him. Brendan Shanahan. He's working hard for Hull in the middle. Hull is lined up where he loves to shoot it, but he had 2 Bruins on him. Hull's right there again. Couldn't get that bouncing puck.
Well, the long reach of Hal Gill.
Boy, everybody saw that in New York when he found that little kid in the green jacket. They just saw it here today, too.
Shanahan, a chance held on to by Raycroft for the save.
Hal Gill in the middle of it here.
He's got a little stick up his shirt there, I think. He's got, what's he got? He's got something that was trying to poke through his jersey.
Maybe there's a Red Wing.
He's big enough that somebody could fit in there. He's 6'8". You know, not all of the coaches in the NHL are former players, but the guys today are. Mike Sullivan of the Bruins and Dave Lewis of the Detroit Red Wings. 21 of 30 NHL coaches are former players. The breakdown's really interesting of the positions they played. There's 1 goalie, 6 defensemen, and 14 forwards. Just like it's like the team. Yeah. Glenn Hanlon's the goalie.
Oh, yeah.
That one shot in by Matthew Snyder. That ends up going into the netting and bouncing back.
Of course, those numbers will change every couple of weeks now between now and the end of the season.
Congratulations to Dave Lewis. He'll be coaching in the All-Star game in St. Paul. 1 goalie, that's all. Something's not right.
JD, what's
but you know what? A lot of ex-goalies are broadcasters. Maybe they're a lot smarter than some of the guys who want to be coaches. Huh?
Point well.
Go long-term, baby.
Plus, you only need 1 goaltender. That's how good they are. Lidstrom tips that one into the zone.
We used to think you only needed 1 color analyst, too. Look at this.
That's what's blocked. Raycroft reaching out with a blocker on that one. Back to Lidstrom. Played into the middle. Lidstrom again will send it back in behind the net. Lions play-by-play still at 1. I'm smiling, baby. Move back up by LaPointe. Sends it into the corner. Who knows in this day and age?
You can have as many of you idiots over there as you want, right? As long as there's only 1 of me.
That's right. That's exactly right. Not sharing that check, Bubba. That one sent in over the blue line past Yzerman. Back to get it is Woolley. Rolls it around to Chelios. Up to Yzerman. Back into the middle, knocked away. Boston gets it back. Down to 1:30 to go in the period. Thornton dropped it. Shot save made by Joseph on Knuble. Knuble had room on the outside of that circle. Back to O'Donnell. O'Donnell got it in deep. Chelios giving chase. Murray's after it as well. Murray blocks the attempted out. Tries Thornton. Woolley there. Woolley leaves it. And Zetterberg starts it up. 1-1 game. Zetterberg with 1:10 to go, 3rd period. Fans cheer. Zetterberg. He got crunched.
Mike Knuble just shredded him along the boards.
Knuble's played a very physical game here.
It's that size difference.
1 minute left to go in the period. Up the near side. Couldn't be handled by Yzerman. No back to get it. We're watching the time remaining here in the 3rd of this 1-1 game.
Goaltenders have been strong this game, haven't they, guys? But I'd say that Curtis Joseph has had the tougher saves, especially here in the 3rd with a couple of tight plays, especially Murray.
He's made 31 saves. Raycroft knocks that one away off the blocker. He's had 25 saves at the other end. On the blue line loose. 30 seconds left to go in the period. Draper was trying to move in with it. Lidstrom's got it. Sends it ahead. Draper on the tip into the zone. Chased down by Morrison. Morrison in behind the net. Kicked at. We're 19 seconds away from overtime. Draper knocked it away along the boards. Helped hold it in. Shot by Maltby. Save made through a screen. Turning with the puck is Dandino. Dandino on top. Maltby. Maltby again. That deflected right into the middle and cleared up by O'Donnell. Maltby had it. Tried to hold it in. Could not. One last shot from center off the blocker. And we've got overtime. Boston and Detroit 1-1 through regulation.
This should be terrific in overtime. You've got an East Conference team against the West Conference. They don't care if the other team gets 1 more point than them, so everybody goes right at it. I mean, it should be tremendous.
3rd period shots end up 13-13. Let's take a look at how the scoring happened in this game. Back to the 1st.
Great forecheck by Maltby. Creates the turnover. Yzerman down low. Big save. There's Maltby. That was the 1-0 Detroit goal.
And then Boston in the 3rd period on a 5-minute major penalty got 1 goal. That by Martin LaPointe. He paid a price for it. He got cut behind his ear, but he's back and playing.
The only power play goal we have had. There you see the shot advantage. The chances have gone the Bruins' way as well. Power play goal by Boston, 0 for 4 for Detroit. Now we go 4-on-4 in overtime. Detroit's 5-1-4 this year in OT games. Boston 2-4-10.
Yeah, only the Philadelphia Flyers and the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim have lost more games in overtime than the Boston Bruins, but the Bruins have played their share, boy.
Hey, here's another number I got to throw at you guys. Explain this one to me. Why is Boston 9-2-2-1 against the West this season?
No idea.
They shouldn't be.
No, it's the strangest thing. They don't win at home. They've got a great record against the West. Anyway, this is an East-West game right here. We're going to overtime.
There you see their numbers. Detroit has had winners from Lidstrom, Hull, and Zetterberg, and 2 overtime winners from Shanahan. Samsonov and Ralston have had the overtime winners in the 2 overtime wins for Boston. Here we go to OT. 5 minutes worth of it. Somebody gets one. Each team's got 1 point. Somebody can get another goal here. That team will take 2. Play it up by Lidstrom. Not a good pass gets by Gill, though. Maltby unable to handle there. Speedsters get their chance in this overtime 4-on-4, and Samsonov is one of those. Samsonov tried to draw it back. Thornton with the puck. Thornton, Lidstrom reached in, poked it away. Lidstrom trying to tie him up. Thornton the muscle. Samsonov shot. Didn't have the angle. Take back up Shanahan looking for Lidstrom. Oh, was he open? It's got to be played. Raycroft out to get it.
He had him, and it was perfect on the tape. It just hopped over his blade.
He was going down that left side by his lonesome. Knocked away by Whitney. Played back by Dan McGillis. So our first ABC broadcast of the season of the National Hockey League is in OT. John Davidson and Bill Clement. I'm Gary Thorne. And this third period really took the matter up. First round the youngster. Shot that one wide. O'Donnell on the far side. Reached for it. Put it up off the dasher. Tied up. Chelios had tied the puck up. 2-on-1 opportunity the other way for the game winner. Hull's on the near side. Looking. In. Shot. Solid. Rebound. Deflected away.
Perfectly played by the defenseman Gilson.
Another chance. Raycroft. The glove went out, but the shot went wide on the big blast. So a 2-on-1 opportunity led by Woolley. He wanted to give that puck up, but couldn't do it.
No, he made the right play by shooting, too, because Gilson took away the pass to Hull.
Hull was on that left side, and Boston was not going to give him a chance with a one-timer. Maltby back in behind the net. There to the near side. Dan lost. Couldn't be held on to by Draper. Center shot. Save. Rebound. Boston denied.
Twice. Second time in the catching glove. Giveaway out of the corner. The puck got away from Draper. Bang, bang. The puck was in front, and Curtis Joseph continues to be absolutely super here in Boston this afternoon. Ralston was there. He had a rebound try, too.
You don't think Brian Ralston wouldn't have loved this? An OT winner. It would have been his first goal in 12 games. Brian Ralston's curtain.
That one is going to be held in by Knuble. Just in behind the net, Joseph. Snyder came back to help out. Pushed it up the near side. Good play. Boynton who moved in to hold it in. Maltby coming back for it. Puck still sitting there against the boards. And a big battle with Ralston in behind the net. Lidstrom comes back to get it. Lidstrom looking. 2:54 left to go here in the overtime. That's Matthew Snyder. Wide side for Draper. Draper's going to get cut off over there. Oh, Morrison looking at Raycroft out. Watch the Hawks. Knocked away by Matthew Snyder. Knuble takes the hit to the head. Boynton picks up the puck.
Guys, I think the puck hit the handle of the goal stick above his blocker.
Look at a little room here. Backhanded open net. Score! Look at them. 2-1. Boston.
What a play by Dan McGillis. Beautimus Maximus. And you don't think teams aren't going for it? We talked about East against West. Dan McGillis, a defenseman, right up on the play in front of everybody.
Look at that. That's the rub-in job there. The Bruin fan rubbing it into the Red Wing fan. You know, that play at the other end of the ice, guys, I don't know how this happened, but the puck ends up to the handle of the goal stick. I thought it might go in. Watch. Wow, off the handle. You don't see that often. Detroit comes down the ice not long after that.
Watch this play by Dan McGillis. He sucked everybody over to him, including Curtis Joseph, and that's the key. Curtis Joseph was betting somebody was going to pick up anybody trailing. This bet went against him. Joe Thornton, the winner.
Thornton gets it done, and Boston has beat Detroit twice in a week. Great to have had you with us here at the Fleet Center. Other action going on for John Davidson and Bill Clement. I'm Gary Thorne. Our final here in Boston. Boston 2, Detroit 1. Back to John and Barry.
Thanks, Gary. Now 5 consecutive games without a loss for the Boston Bruins. Sometimes it's not just winning, but it's who you beat and when you beat them.
Well, now it's back-to-back wins against the Detroit Red Wings. Shut them out 3-2 or 3-0 last time they played. So there are periods in season when you can turn a season around. Boston has not played well up to this 5-game winning streak, John. So maybe now they can get going. Thornton played well today. Raycroft was great in net. They played good defense, and they came from behind against probably the most talented team in the NHL.
And again, if Detroit has a weakness, as you look at this team, as the parts start to come together and all the Hall of Famers they have and young guys like Datsuk, where is a weak point?
I don't think this team has a weakness. I think they're strong all over. I think they get Hatcher back. Don't forget they got one of the best defensemen in the NHL coming back, and all their young guys are getting ice time, which maybe they wouldn't have got if all the guys stayed healthy.
And they'll be ready for the playoffs as
will
usual. We will continue with more. This is the NHL on 8. And welcome back, all of you across the country who've watched the NHL on ABC. We talked about Detroit losing to Boston. Let's talk a little Colorado against Dallas. The Avalanche, when you saw that team put together at the start of the season, the one question mark was Patrick Roy. Aboucher has been great, and the Stars are coming back.
Aboucher, his numbers dwarf Patrick Roy's numbers at this time last season. Aboucher has been everything and more this team could possibly hope for. He's been solid. He hasn't had a bad period. He hasn't had a slump. The team is starting to believe in him. The problem is now, though, what if you get to the trading deadline and you believe in Aboucher and you don't go out and get a veteran goalie and you lose? Now you'll really be second-guessed. But as of now, and what they're saying in the press, John, Aboucher is their goalie for the rest of the year. They're not going to be getting a veteran at the deadline.
Plus, as good as they are offensively, they got to figure we can win 8-7 if we have to.
They can win anyway.
On a given night. Right, let's get back to the Wings and the Bruins. The Wings, of course, one of the most talented teams in the league. Boston trying to go 5 straight games without a loss. Still some Christmas wishes. Still a wing nut. And Brett Hall is just snake bit here, Bear.
Well, he has been in a slump for him. This is the 15th game that he doesn't score. Looks like he's got one here. When he's hot, that puck hits the post and goes in. Right now, hits the post and go out.
And then Maltby pounces on that rebound and scores. Iverson with first shot.
You've been in basketball too long, John. It's Yzerman, not Iserman. Yzerman throws it to the net, and Maltby jumps in and gets a rebound. Right there, Datsuk finishes his check. Borderline call. Could have went either way. Datsuk is not a guy that gets many 5-minute majors. That might be the only one he ever gets in his career.
And I'm not sure he deserved that one at all. Marty Lapointe pays a price for scoring a goal here. Watch the stick come up and clips him right under the eye. He would stay in the game again, but he got the goal.
That's all that matters. When Marty Lapointe's playing well, that's where he scores his goals from. Andrew Raycroft, young goaltender for Boston, really #1 goaltender right now, taking the job away from Felix Potvin.
You see a 2-on-1 there that is dwarfed, and then Boston goes to work. Watch this pass. How pretty is that?
Joe Thornton following up the play right here. Great drop pass, wide open net. And a come-from-behind win against the Detroit Red Wings. That is a confidence builder. And their best player got the goal, which is important for Boston.
And beating them twice in a row, as you mentioned earlier, is huge for the Boston Bruins. They're on pace for about 95, 96 points this year. That should be a playoff spot in the East, maybe not the West.
Well, what I like, and we talked about this 5-game winning streak before, it came at the time it had to come because they were dropping like a rock. They were almost an 8th spot in a playoff hunt. No confidence. Nobody was playing well for Boston. They're having goaltending problems. Now they've won 5 games in a row. They beat Detroit Red Wings twice, who I consider the best team in hockey. Thornton is playing well. Raycroft has taken over the #1 job. Murray had a couple great chances tonight. Samsonov didn't score, but was dangerous every time he stepped on the ice. Ralston was dangerous. So the right guys are playing well. Marty Lapointe, again, I come back to him. I think he's one of the key Boston Bruin players. They signed him as a free agent a couple years ago, gave him a ton of money, John. He hasn't been great here, but now he's starting to score, and that's his 7th goal, so maybe Marty will get things going.
There have been several coaching changes in Boston over the last
few
years.
Exact.
And also, it's a team where people say they can't win the Stanley Cup because Harry Sinden isn't willing to spend the type of money it will take to win the Stanley Cup. With this group, can they contend?
They can contend. And the owner came out and blasted him about 2 weeks ago saying that everybody was on the chopping block, including the general manager, Michael Connell. So everybody in Boston's feeling the pressure. This is a good hockey club. It's not a team I don't think that can beat New Jersey, can beat the Ottawas, beat the Philadelphias. But this is a team that should be dangerous to play against if they get goaltending. They got guys that can put the puck in the net. They're big. Again, I mentioned earlier, they got to play more physical, John. Why be a giant team? Why have guys 6'5" and poke check guys? Not guys in their butts. Be a team that no one wants to play against. That'll make you even better at home. Now they're above 500 at home. They're above 500 on the road.
And certainly on a roll. Right now, let's return and rejoin Gary Thorne and Bill Clement.
Boston Bruins have had their trouble at home. Joe Thornton got a little good news on that side of the coin. Joe, congratulations on the overtime game winner. What's been the problem for the Bruins on their home ice this year?
You know what? I'm not quite sure. It's it seems last year we had a pretty good team at home. I think it's those white jerseys we carry on the road with us. They're pretty good luck. But, we're just glad to get the 2 points here against Detroit.
What about the issue scoring goals, Joe? I mean, you guys are playing well defensively, but I don't know, a lot of us, including me, are scratching our heads. We look at the goals that you aren't scoring, and we look at your lineup, and we say, how can this be? I mean, do you guys do that too?
Yeah, you know what? We've been nipped in the butt a couple times out there. We've had some breakaways that hit the post, open nets that just, don't even hit the net. But, you know, we're starting to find the back of the net. We're starting to practice on burying, you know, loose pucks and things like that. So hopefully they'll change in the last 40 games here.
Joe, we talked a lot during the broadcast about the size of the Bruins. You're trying to take more advantage of that. Is that what's being asked of you in particular and of the team?
Yeah, we everybody knows we got a big team. We just got to use our body as much as we can. Be a little bit more physical. I think when our team gets their legs going and we're physical, I think, you know, our offense usually comes from that. But every game that we seem to be hitting, we're into those games, and we usually win those games.
Joe, congratulations.
Yep, way to go, Joe.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Overtime goal. He picked it up, and Boston came away with a win. They now have beaten the Detroit Red Wings twice during this past week.
And we should probably clarify one thing for Joe Thornton. It's nipped in the bud, as in a rosebud, not in the butt.
You're worried about how guys are saying stuff and you couldn't say Yzerman?
This is a tough name. It starts with a Y. Dominik Hasek, when he decided to come out of retirement, people figured, okay, Detroit's right where they want to be again. But the bad news, there's a guy who sat out for a year. You can't expect him to be the same goaltender. And physically, you can't expect him to be the same goaltender.
And he wasn't the same goaltender, John. Even when he was healthy at the start of the season and doing lots of practicing and playing, he wasn't the same dominator. He wasn't Dominik Hasek that shut the door on everybody. There were soft goals. There were breakdowns. Now he's hurt. The training staff has told him that they don't want him to do anything for 2 weeks to try and get this groin healthy. As he's been fighting injuries and everything's been happening with the Detroit goaltending situation, Curtis Joseph has slowly played well, has slowly come back. A guy that was ostracized to the minors a few months ago is the #1 guy now. He's 7-3-1 now in his last 11 games, which is okay. He played good today. Manny Legacy, I think, is the best backup in hockey. A guy that is quietly does a great job. So as of now, there's no reason to think this is going to be ready in 2 weeks. It's taken a long time now to be healthy. As of Cujo's the #1 goaltender right now.
Do you think by the trade line they've got to move one of them?
No, because if a Dominator's health isn't good, you can't move him and then try and worry about Dominator getting hurt come playoff time with a bad groin, and Legacy's your #1 guy. Money is not a big thing to Detroit Red Wings. They would like to move Cujo and free up that salary, but as of now, there's only half a season left. They're on the hook for half the season. They've already paid half the season. I think it's an insurance policy for the Detroit Red Wings.
It'd be very interesting to have a guy sitting in civvies collecting
$7 million?
$7 million a year. The Islanders and the New York Rangers know it may come down to them for the final playoff spot in the East. And New York, as in the Rangers, have dominated New York as in the Islanders, especially this guy, Mike Dunham. Lindros tips this shot in, just gets it out of midair there.
Lindros, I think, has been their best player of the last 3 weeks. This has been their best line, Barnaby and Simon. And again, today it was their best line. Barnaby makes a great pass. Much better hockey player than people give him credit for, Matthew Barnaby.
And then Raczynski just throws it at the net. That was it for Garth Snow. He got pulled out of the game, and after looking at it a second time, you can see why.
Snow's been so good, too, for the New York Islanders of late. He certainly wanted to play a lot better against the Rangers today.
How about this save?
Well, it was 3-0 at the time. That would have made it 3-1, and we know the Islanders picked it up after this. So you got to think this was the game-saving save, although we didn't know about it at that moment.
And then Winehandle comes around from behind the net and scores, and suddenly we have a 3-2 game.
Well, poor coverage again by the New York Rangers in front of the net. That's their weak area. They're not great in that area, and they got to get better if they're going to go anywhere in the playoffs or make the playoffs. Winehandle gets a rebound off Kavash's shot. Kavash was very good for the Islanders today. He's getting more ice time at center because of the injury to Yashin. 2 chances at it. That shouldn't happen again for the New York Rangers. But again, that's their weak area, right in front of the net.
And then from there, it was Dunham to keep this game a victory as he came up with a couple of big saves late. And the New York Rangers come up with a 3-2 win over the Islanders. Winehandle power play goal. He also had an assist, as you saw. And they've lost all 3 meetings with the Rangers this season. Let's now join Eric Lindros.
Rangers have won another crucial game in the middle part of the season, beating the Islanders here 3-2. And one of the heroes of the Ranger victory, Eric Lindros, has joined us. Your thoughts on the game?
Well, we got off to a really good start. We were not happy about what happened in Carolina and at home the night before against Calgary. So we had a real good, solid start. Matthew Barnaby and Chris Simon really set the tone out there with great forward checks and some terrific plays. And our power play got something started with the first one, and things started to go from there. Rosie made a nice shot, but we had a little problem with our penalty kill in the second period. But I think it's a credit to our team that we hung with it. We maintained our composure, and we just kept chipping the puck in at the end of the game and really rolled our lines.
You personally have been playing extremely well, Eric, and I was looking at your ice time over the last couple of years. It's not the same kind of ice time that you've had, you know, in the past 4 and 5 years ago. How are you making adjustments with that?
Well, you know, you go when you're called, and earlier in the year I wasn't getting called on a whole lot, but you know, I found a bit of a line here with Symes and Barney, and we're moving along all right. We know what our role is. We know how to get the puck deep, and once we get it deep, we're cycling very well.
It seems like this has been a progression for you from, you know, the concussions and the injuries you've had and all the time you had to take off. Doc and I were talking about it during the game. You look as good now, I think, as you ever have. Is this just part of the progression, Eric?
I don't know. I mean, I feel good. I feel strong right now. You know, I felt strong all year long, and things are starting to roll a little bit. But we've got a long way to go. We got a crucial month ahead of us here. We think we got at the start with 17 and 30 days or 31 days or something like that. So you know, this is really our season right here. We play a lot of our division rivals, and we got to win. We're out of the playoffs right now. We have to keep knocking on the door.
Star of the game, Eric Lindros today. His team now only 2 points away from that last playoff berth. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Back to our studios.
And most people would love to work only 17 days out of 31. But as a hockey player, we know exactly how tough that is. Yes. The New York Rangers, I think, sometimes are a victim of the names of the players that are on the team. You look at that roster and you say, how can this Hall of Fame roster not win another Stanley Cup? But you got to look at where they are in their careers.
But I'm also a big believer, the more God gives you, the more that's expected out of you. And I don't think the Rangers are living up to their expectations. You're right, they have a lot of older players. Messier, we're talking about, he's got 13 goals, but it's not the older players that are playing poorly. It's the guys that are in the prime of their career. Guys like Kovalev. This guy, as far as I'm concerned, Alexei Kovalev is one of the 5 most talented players in the world. He's sitting with 7 goals. Yes, he's leading the team in points. He's got 1 power play goals. He plays every power play. That is not good enough production. Peter Nedved, same thing, prime of his career. Eric Lindros, I think, is playing great hockey. He's a different player now than he was 5 years ago. He's not an offensive player per se. He's more of an all-around player, plays a different role for the New York Rangers. Pody has to play better. Brian Leach has to play better. Players like that, star quality players, primes of their career, those are the guys that I think are letting the Rangers down.
There are those people who will contend that coming to the Rangers, where the spotlight is on you, makes it difficult to play. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, totally I agree. I see guys go to other teams, play great. I see guys that are playing great on other teams come back to New York Rangers. Kovalev is a great example. He goes to Pittsburgh. He's unbelievable. He's awesome. He's super. Comes back to Pittsburgh. He's not a great player anymore. That's got to change, and they got to change the makeup of that. They got to. So for some reason, you come to New York, you're treated so well. You're treated like a king. You got the best of everything. You tend to slack off. They got to change that mental makeup of that team somehow.
Another guy who came to New York is free agent Greg DeVries from Colorado. He's out 4 to 6 weeks with a torn MCL. Let's move along now. Colorado and Dallas. Dallas, what a terribly slow start they had this year for the Colorado Avalanche. Star-laden, but star injuries as well. And here they come out with that New Jersey.
That beautiful New Jersey, John.
Or Star, or whatever it is. Korea makes the play on Hayduk's goal here.
Well, the right names again. Korea makes a great play. Solani here gets a little bit of a bump in the head. Hopefully it's not serious. He left the game. It was a good hit, though. Oliver just dropped his shoulder and popped him in the jaw the way he's supposed to finish his check.
And then Peter Forsberg, watch him take his time. Behind the net, behind the net. Wait.
A little bit like Wayne Gretzky behind the net. He's got the patience. He's got the confidence in his ability. He gives guys time to get in the hole, and that's what Tanguay did. Moved in, moved back, moved in again, lost in the coverage. Now watch, where's he going to put this puck? The only place he can, right up over the glove and arm of Turco.
You attempt the defenseman to go one way, he goes the other. Then the rebound on this one. And then Foote, what's he doing in
I don't know what Adam Foote's doing. He's a defenseman. He's chicken hawking in the for a goal. Adam gets his own gets a rebound off Morris's slap shot. I'll tell you, that is a talented group the Colorado Avalanche got there.
And then it looked like there perhaps could be a comeback. Jason Arnott with a goal to make it 4-2. And from there, Colorado just has to hold on. Abisher just shuts everything down. I don't think you can get a puck inside of that net if they try.
Legs, bodies, the rear ends, stomachs, everything in the way of that shot.
So the Avalanche win it 4-2. And for Milan Hajduk, 20 goals again for the 5th consecutive season. And let's join our Darren Pang.
Thanks very much. It's rare you see a win in the NHL these days, Panger, by a club that has 0 shots on goal in the third period, and that's what happened this afternoon in Dallas. The Avalanche, a winner. Jan.10 had a pair of power play goals, and he joins us from just outside the Avalanche dressing room. And you guys have had the best road power play in the NHL. Why the success, especially on the road this season?
Well, I don't know. I think it's just key. You know, special teams are always a big part of the success of a team, and we've been successful on the power play, and the penalty kill has been doing pretty good. So, you know, we'll try to take advantage of this as much as possible.
Well, you did do just that, Alex, and we're going to lead you to the goals that you scored to break this game pretty much wide open in the second period. Maybe you can run us through the chances that you had here in front of goaltender Marty Turco.
Yeah, the first one, I think Peter was just standing in behind the net, and he made a nice pass, and the second one was a rebound, came right on my stick. So hopefully those rebounds happen a little bit more often.
Now, you started off on fire and had plenty of confidence. What has been the turnaround lately?
Well, I don't know. I think, you know, I haven't been shooting the puck that well, and I've been skating as much as I did early in the season. So I just got to get back to it. And, you know, playing with Peter and Milan, if you work hard, if you skate hard, you're going to get chances. And that's what I'm going to try to do to help the team as much as possible.
Alex, thanks for taking the time. Tremendous effort. The last time Alex Tanguay had a multi-goal game was his lone career hat trick back last March against Chicago. That's it for Dallas. For now, back to you.
All right, Stephen Darren, thanks a lot. Mike Modano, of course, outstanding all-star center for Dallas, unable to play. He's out indefinitely, they say, with a little bit of a groin problem. Again, we talked about Colorado, and when they had the off-season signings, everybody smiled, says what great hockey we're going to see there. But Patrick Waugh was also retiring, so the big question mark between the pipes.
Well, there was no question that they were going to score goals. They still got Blake, you got Foote, you got Morris, so there's no question about their defense. The only question is in between the pipes. Was Abisher going to be good enough, solid enough to play these minutes? He's never played these type of minutes before, and give this team the type of goaltending they need. They don't need Marty Brodeur in net because they score so many goals and they're so good defensively, but they needed goaltender not to lose games for them. Abisher has done everything they could have hoped. He's been great, he's been solid, and his numbers are fantastic.
All right, let's check one more score. And you talk about goaltending. There was very little of it on the part of the Pittsburgh Penguins as they lose to Montreal 8-0. The first 4 goals were power play goals. And just an easy victory for Montreal. The Penguins have fallen apart.
Well, Pittsburgh's not playing well, and nothing's going right for them. But the Canadians are playing very good hockey right now. Sheldon Surrey leading the NHL in goals for defensemen with 14. Their power play is getting better. Bob Gainey has really solidified that team's front office. That's a good hockey team. I think that's a playoff team.
Michael Ryder had 2 goals in that game. Don't forget, NHL All-Star Game from St. Paul, Minnesota, Sunday, February 8th, 3 o'clock Eastern Time.